Welcome back to the Stick 'em Up podcast. I'm your host, Braden Corbeil, here with my co-host, Brandon Brundy, like the Rock Corbeil. And we are back. We took a week off. We had a lot of family out, made it hard to record. We just got into the off season, so we figured we'd take a week break, but we're back. And we have a ton of stuff to talk about because our last episode was just before free agency hit. So we have not talked about any of this stuff yet. It is all going to be good. You've probably heard about most of it, but you know what? Uh, I don't know about you. We're how many days out of into free agency? 9, and I'm still refreshing as if it's you know, July 2nd. I'm still waiting for news, and slowly come to the realization that the news is dying down pretty quickly at this point. They'll get a couple signings here and there. I bet Patty Kane in the next few weeks, guys like that, but I think for the most part, the days where there's a bunch of big news all at once are pretty much over, unless it's a bunch of drama, because we've got a lot of that going on right now as well.
Yeah, a lot has gone on, and yeah, we got a lot to discuss. And you say not a lot of news is all going to come out in one day, but with the way the league's going right
Love
now,
to get
I'm at the
proved
point
wrong.
where it's just never say never. Because yeah, I mean Darnell Nurse got traded, which we'll talk about. So I think at this point, anything in the league is possible.
Yeah, I mean, the days where we don't have signings, we've got GMs taking shots at each other. We've got agents and GMs and insiders all yelling at each other on Twitter. Like, we've got some like goofy shit going on that we haven't seen in a hot minute. So
Yeah,
regardless, this is the most entertained I've been over a week into July by the NHL in quite some time. But
absolutely.
with all that said, where do we want to start? Do we want to just kick it off with the Leo Carlsson thing?
Yeah, I think we got it right.
It's kind of hard not to. Um, I mean, I would say for those who haven't heard, but you've all heard at this point, Leo Carlsson has been offered an offer sheet by the Philadelphia Flyers, 5 years, $18 million a season. It is also incredibly loaded the um with the bonuses, the signing bonuses. Like, this is really the Flyers throwing their financial weight around and trying to either bully the Ducks into giving them an incredible player, or they screw their a bit of a rival, despite being in different conferences, over with a huge contract. And earlier today, we finally got word that Leo Carlsson's offer sheet has been matched by the Anaheim Ducks. He is staying a Duck. They are eating that massive cap hit. Kirill Kaprizov, for all the shit people gave him about being the highest paid player in the league, he was only the highest paid player for 7 or 8 days.
Yeah,
Because his extension just kicked in,
just
and
kicked in.
bam, Leo Carlsson's passed him. So
Yeah. Yeah, so the offer sheet is the one thing that made it tough that we weren't recording for like a week there. Um, just because it would have been nice to talk about it as it was fresh and all the chaos amongst it, but you know, life goes on, and we had other things going on. So, at least we're here to talk about it now, and we can talk about it full circle now, as it's
yeah,
fresh and we know that the Ducks did match. Um, yeah, I mean it's as simple as, from the Flyers' perspective, they needed a center.
yeah,
Their center depth is not very good, and more than anything, you need a first line center, which Leo Carlsson is probably going to become. Is it fair to say right now
yeah.
he is a surefire number one first line center right now? No, but by October, could
I
he
think
be?
he is a 1C at this point.
Absolutely.
I think right now he's a
I mean,
1C.
yeah, but like not
He's
on
not
a
an elite
cup
elite.
contender. I guess is more so what I meant. Like a
Yeah,
team that's got like straight up cup aspirations
that's
as
fair.
of this moment. I don't think he is. Could he be by September, October? Absolutely. Is he gonna be by the end of next season? Probably. I'd kind of be shocked if he wasn't. So for the Flyers, I mean,
He
it
better
makes
be,
sense,
for their
and
sake.
yeah, and you give up. I mean, if the Ducks didn't match, you'd have to give up 4 first-round picks. Who cares? I see a lot of people being like, "Oh, 4 first, a lot to give up." Have you
No, it's
seen
not.
the way the Flyers have drafted over the last few years?
Well,
They
and
might
also,
be the worst team when it comes to drafting in the first round. Actually, that's not true. Ottawa is actually pretty abysmal. But okay, cool. The only team worse than you is Ottawa. That's not saying much.
The
So
last 8
4
years,
first
Tampa
round
hasn't been
picks
very good in the
for.
first round either. Well, I guess we've made like 2 picks, but
I was gonna say they don't even have fucking first round picks. So for Philly, like it makes all the sense in the world to give up 4 firsts that are probably maybe a hit on 2 of them for a guy that was just recently drafted second overall and has all the potential in the world. Like you take that
and
swing.
they made the playoffs last year. And if you're adding a guy who is going to be your 1C, you can't possibly expect to fall out of the playoffs with Porter Martone getting a full season with you and bringing in a guy like Carlson. Like it would be crazy if they brought him in and they didn't make the playoffs all of a sudden. So you got to
Yeah.
expect those first rounders would be, 18th overall or worse for most of that time.
Yeah.
And another thing about this contract, because obviously the Ducks have to match the exact contract given to him, offer sheeted by the Flyers. They made it so it walks him right to UFA. Like they fucking sewered them with this offer sheet. And goddamn, do I love it. That is so fun. We
Yeah.
we never see offer sheets, and the reason always pointed to is they don't want to rock the boat. The GMs don't want to piss anybody off. They don't want to burn any bridges. Everything about this offer sheet says, fuck you, Verbeek. You fucking suck. I hate you and your team, and I'm going to screw you over. Shouldn't they be? They're competitors. They're not buddies.
Yeah.
Right?
At the end of the day, every GM's goal is to win the Stanley Cup.
They're competitors that act like best friends playing Smash Bros with each other when they should be acting like people competing at the highest level at their job. And maybe we'll start seeing that a little more. Like,
And that's the thing, right? Is a lot of people say like, oh, now there's no way Anaheim ever even does business with Philly. If the Flyers offered 4 first round picks for Ian Moore, Ducks are gonna take it. Like deals are still gonna happen. It's GM's always gonna do what's best for their team, and if the only deal on the table is there and it's best for the team, they're gonna take it. So it's not like there's never gonna be a deal made ever again between the Flyers and Ducks. Is because
exactly.
maybe Philly have to pay a bit more, maybe, but a
Maybe
deal
there's
is
a
still,
premium.
and potential for one to be made. Yeah, and you mentioned Pat Verbeek, and I've been pretty vocal about it that given how this has gone, it's a fireable offense in my opinion. This is a guy who was just a finalist for GM of the Year, didn't win obviously, and again, in my opinion, shouldn't have. So good thing he didn't win, and this would have looked even worse if he did.
That would have been crazy.
But like you had 12 months. Yeah, 12 months to sign Leo Carlsson to an offer sheet. And at times it was reported you could have signed him for an 8-year deal at 9.5, an 8-year deal at 10 mil, and then an 8-year deal at 12. And you didn't do it because Pat Verbeek has a very bad history of negotiating with his RFAs and dragging it out, dragging them through the mud, and basically telling them, not straight to their face, but basically saying, you're shit, and you are going to take less money because you're not that valuable. You look what happened with Trevor Zegras. They walked him all the way to basically preseason. Same thing with Mason McTavish not too long ago. Spoiler alert, those 2 guys got traded. I don't think it's a coincidence that the 2 players that got dragged out are the guys that ended up not performing well and then ended up leaving, because it's hard to play for a team when your GM doesn't have an ounce of faith in you, really.
Is a dick.
So I don't, I see people blaming Leo Carlsson, but like, how can you when he's looking at it? And it's like you got offered a guaranteed, what is that?
It's a very small amount of people.
90 million?
90, 95, something like that, I believe.
So like you got offered a guaranteed $90 million up front, or you say, no, I'm a Duck for life, and then just battle Pat Verbeek all off season about your new contract, and potentially all the way till you miss training camp. And we've seen that happen with a couple other players, and it doesn't work very well. So Yeah, why wouldn't you sign this? At the end of the day,
I think
whether
it's a
the Ducks
very
match or
small
not,
amount of people. I think it's a
it
very,
is,
very
but
small amount of people actually argue because, like, hey,
it's not only
would you like to
people.
be the highest paid player in the NHL?
Mhm.
No, I want to be a team first guy. Fuck off.
No, so
Fuck
it's not
off.
only the people like blame, but they're also saying like, how do you go back into that locker room now being like? But again, at the end of the day, to me, it doesn't matter. The people that say that are
Leo Carlson actually touched
the
on that. He was on
the
his a
whiny
podcast.
babies.
He was on a
Yeah.
podcast earlier today, and he was saying that, like, recently and throughout the whole thing, his whole teammates were like, first of all, happy for him that he's getting paid and saying he deserves it. But also, their biggest concern was, we really hope we keep this player. The players aren't sitting there
Mhm.
sweating the cap situation that much. Maybe when it's their contract year and they're worried about extension, maybe they're a little bit worried then, but they're not. Nobody's side eyeing Leo Carlson over that. Any of them would have taken this deal,
Mhm.
and why wouldn't you? It'd
Well,
be stupid not to.
and that's exactly it. But now you get to the point where, and again, first of all, Pat Verbeek coming out and saying like, "Oh, anyone who offer sheets our players will match it." Like the
That's
dumbest thing he could have said. That's
He
an open
had
invitation of
two
coming
guys
coming,
open to RFA.
bend me over, which the Flyers did because again, like, is Leo Carlson going to be a great player? Absolutely. Is he worth 18 mil right now? Absolutely not.
No,
And when you look at it now, the Ducks have what? They've like $9 million in cap space
something
after
like
this
that.
now. Cutter Gauthier is currently unsigned, so
He's looking for
they
reportedly
gotta.
around 15 mil.
Yeah, because how you can't offer him much less than the 18 mil now. He's on par with Leo Carlson, in my opinion. So,
He scored
I mean,
40
15
goals.
mil is a steal if that's where it's
12.7
at.
12.7
12.7.
million cap space.
So even
But
then, you've got 12.7. Cutter Gauthier is now looking at 15. You can't even pay him that. The entire right side of your blue line left, or yeah, because Truba's gone, John
do you want me
Carlson's
to
gone,
run
Brad
down
Stuber is gone.
their top six?
Yeah, it's
Uh,
not good. It's ass actually.
Jackson Lacombe, Pavel Mintyukov, who got extended for 7.2 mil. Sounds like they were originally wanting to get him around 3.5 or 4. They have to pay him 7.2 now because money just went up.
Because they're
Uh,
worried about potential offer sheets on him now.
exactly. Nick Jensen, we're on the third guy, and I said Nick Jensen. Ian Moore, Drew Hellison, and Tristan Luneau.
So that's the worst blue line in the entire league.
I might have to double check what's going on with the Canucks because they're bad right now, but
I would take
it's
Vancouver
got to be
still, I think.
close at the least.
And again, like, is Pavel Mintyukov a good player? Absolutely. Is he worth 7.2? Absolutely not. But
Maybe one day.
I,
Not yet.
I doubt it. The Ducks have shown over the last like year and a half that they don't value him that much. He's not in the coach's good books ever. So it's like you've got a guy that you clearly don't value that much and see as a cog in the machine for you long term. But now you're forced to give him a 5-year deal at 7.2 because of the Leo Carlson situation. That again, you put yourself in. So because you just didn't give Leo Carlson what he wanted originally, tried to drag it out, you overpay for Mintyukov. You're now going to have to pay way more for Cutter Gauthier. You're going to have to pay way more next year for Beckett Seneca. And you're going to have yourself no money to fix your blue line when all your right-handed guys left.
Yeah,
What an offseason. What an
it's so
offseason for the
brutal.
Ducks.
I'm looking how bad this blue line is, and I'm thinking, man, you couldn't keep Olin Zellweger around.
Yeah, they traded him for no reason. They didn't have to. But
that's brutal as well. And they just got railed by this so hard. And yeah, it's hard to imagine them keeping Cutter Gauthier and Seneca throughout this without just paying all of them out the ass. It sounds like even so, like, 9.5, around 10 or 12 mil. That was all pretty early in the season. As recently as like early, what would it be? June? Uh
June.
they were in talks with extending Carlson. And at that point, it was, people were talking, and everyone's like, okay, the cap's really going up now. So they were kind of in that era that we are right now, where we know guys are getting paid. And
Hmm.
Leo Carlsson was going, okay, they're talking around 13 and a half. They're talking around 14. And then he starts taking calls from other teams, and he calls up Verbeek and he says, I have an offer sheet in front of me. Another team is willing to give me 15 mil. Will you give me 15 mil? If you will, I will sign that today and not with the other team. And Verbeek still said, no, nope. We're gonna make it closer to 13. We'll see you in a bit when we continue negotiations. So he won't even give him 15 mil, and then 18 mil comes around from the Flyers. Yeah, that's a no-brainer. Like, oh, the amount of times he had where he could have just fucking got the guy locked up. Not like everyone's look at the cap hit, and that's a huge part of it, but also all those early season deals were all for 8 years.
Yeah.
And this one's for 5. So like that's
Yeah.
also would have been huge value. 3 more years at even 12 would be a gift to
Huge.
them later on. Like, yeah,
Yeah. It's
everyone seems to be in agreement that this is absolutely a fireable offense, which is hilarious because we are so not far removed from him being a top 3 GM in the league this past year.
in my opinion, I never thought he should have been a finalist, but I would say for, as usual, what do I know? But hey, look what I know, because again, I never thought he deserved it, and
It felt more
he's
like
proved
on
me right
from
here.
Quenneville, like
Yeah.
the moves they made. Like, what moves did he make that people loved in the last year? Bringing in Kreider, sure, that's fun. I guess the Carlson trade and stuff like that's neat. Is that what gets you nominated for GM of the year? That's,
Yeah, exactly. It's
maybe it was a
it's a
weak
bit
year. Maybe
bizarre.
the bar was really low.
But
But
yeah, Flyers are well, I mean, Flyers are still in a tough spot, obviously, because you're now. I mean, you get that 18 mil a season back, sure, but you're still without, really a top six center. So, but there's lots of names out there still. Maybe they pivot to Adam Fantilli. Connor Bedard is still out there, and he is dealing with a shoulder injury and out for
that
4
throws a
months.
wrench
But
into it.
that's that's a possibility. So, I wouldn't be surprised if we see the Flyers just pivot and say, all right, we took a swing and a miss. Let's try with the next guy, and you see what happens, because
Yeah.
they got money to spend. And yeah, again, they're clearly still trying to go for the cup and playoffs and whatnot in that Metro division. But you're gonna need a top six center in there. So interesting to watch for them, and for the Ducks. I mean, you're really in a tough spot right now, because again, like, is Carlson going to be worth 18 mil at some point through this deal? Potentially. Is he worth right now? No. And does it just handcuff you from improving your blue line in the slightest? Yeah, absolutely, because
Yeah.
all that free money you have is got to go to Cutter Gauthier, who isn't even willing to sign for what you have available right now. It's
Nor
tough.
should he. Nor should
It's
he.
tough.
What is he? 21 years old. He dropped 40 goals.
Mhm.
Absolutely. You better fucking pay me.
Yeah.
Um, one other thing that I'm just now seeing, assuming that it's put on here on cap wages correctly, there is no trade protection on this Leo Carlson deal. There is no clauses. Very interesting.
Huh. All right. Interesting.
So, and that that also makes sense. 18 mil is a lot. Get him to give
Yeah.
up that. That's probably the Flyers being like, all right, well, if they match it, they're not going to be trading him. If he comes here, maybe we'll leave it open in case we need to move him.
Although it is kind of also throwing a bone to the Ducks, though, because we've seen players when they have no movement clauses, no trade clauses, how much they just fuck over um,
Yeah.
teams. Like, so it's kind of a bone thrown to the Ducks. I don't know how many years they necessarily could have given Carlson on for that, because I think you got to reach like a certain point before it. Um,
Is that just the game? Is that where you're getting it from? Because I was also thinking that.
no,
Okay,
what do you mean?
because in the uh, NHL games when you're give to a
no, yeah,
guy
I think it's got to be
for
like
the
a
RFA years. It
certain.
doesn't work. But I
I think it's
thought
got to be a certain
IRL that
number
was the
of
thing.
games. I thought it always had to be something like a certain number of games played or something, or years or something before you could
I
actually like give
I thought
one.
after your ELC you were just allowed to do any kind of clause.
No,
I could be wrong.
maybe you are,
I could
maybe.
totally be wrong, but
But again, I guess by that point, most players would have reached certain things. So maybe I'll do a little bit of homework on that. But yeah, that was a crazy bomb dropped in the offseason. It proves like, hey, what offer sheets are alive and out there. So wasn't the only offer sheet divvied out. Barrett Hayton of the Utah Mammoth signed a 1 year. I believe it was 5.4 or not sorry 4.8
yeah.
with the
So
Devils.
for this, he has also been matched with that offer sheet, so he is staying
By the
in
Mammoth.
Utah. Yeah, just a couple $1,000 under 4.8 mil,
Because it would have
and
been a second would have been the compensation from the Devils. Have you heard all the stuff going on, like everything that kind of goes along with this offer sheet and whatnot?
yeah, so they actually rounded the number on here, so it's not ugly to look at. But whatever that, I believe they would have had to give up a second for this, right?
Yeah.
For the Devils to get him, it was because they're the Devils, $666 below the next tier that would have given them, made them have to pay more. Obviously, you go right under it just so you don't have to pay that, but it's the most amount of money to give you the best chance at signing the player.
Mhm.
And they just, instead of going like $1 under, they did 666 because they're funny men. Also, these two teams were in talk about making this deal. The Devils were trying to get Barrett Hayton at the draft, and
They had a deal on the table, and it
yeah,
was worth more than a second.
yeah, yeah, they
And
wanted this player,
the
and
Utah pulled out last minute and said, no, we're not going to do it. Again, what was the exact deal? Like, we don't know, but it was reported that it was worth more than just a second rounder.
yeah,
But so here's the thing now. So Barrett Hayton again, it's only a 1 year deal. When a player signs an offer sheet and it gets matched, you cannot trade that player for a minimum of 1 calendar year.
365 days.
So the entirety of next season, whether Utah becomes buyers, sellers, whatever, Barrett Hayton cannot be traded at all.
No.
With this 1 year deal as well, it walks him to unrestricted free agency next year. So Barrett Hayton is now in complete control of what he wants to do going forward. If Utah
Yeah.
gives him a great extension he wants, he'll extend, stick around, sure. If he
Yeah.
doesn't,
Which
cool.
they
I
can
go to
only
free
do by
agency and
January 1st. I believe it's January 1st is when he's allowed to extend with them.
yeah, yeah, because
So
on a
they
one
can
year.
extend him on the back half of the season, but they can't trade him at all, which makes it very interesting.
So for Barrett Hayton, like this was a no brainer because it
Yeah,
puts you from a position of no power to now you have all the control in the world over your future. If Utah gives you a phenomenal deal that you're like, yeah, I got to take that, you take it and you stick around with the Mammoth. If they don't, cool. I go to free agency and I have my pick of every team that's throwing offers my way. So, I mean, it's tough for the Devils because obviously they would have loved to get Barrett Hayton, but very good chance they just get him in free agency next offseason because, again, I don't see a world in which he resigns. You look at they've already got Logan Cooley. We'll talk about Vincent Trocheck going there. You've got Desnoyers coming up. Like,
Nick
there's just
Schmaltz
going to
is
be no
best as a
room.
center. He's probably going to be playing winger because
Probably
they
going to be
have such
playing
a
wing,
logjam.
but
But like he is very good as a center, so like that's
there's just
still
no room for
extra
him
depth.
anymore.
Yeah, like Barrett Hayton's going to have a hell of a time working his way up in the lineup, but he's getting a nice payday here, and it sets him up to control his destiny completely
Yeah.
going forward. So kind of works out.
And again, good
I
on the
do love this
Devils.
by Sonny Meta and the Devils,
Yeah,
though. Like you're talking to a
absolutely.
team, you're like, can we get this trade working? No, not really. They don't extend him. Well, fuck, if you won't do business with me, I'll go do business with the player. He's an RFA. Like that,
Mhm.
I don't. Maybe it's just because we haven't got those details before. I don't remember ever seeing that where it was like a team trying to trade for a player. It won't happen. Fine, we're going to offer sheet them. Like
Yeah.
usually offer sheets just kind of come out of nowhere. Like that's a fun way to be like, hey, I really want the fucking player. If you're not going to give them, let's do this. So I
No, yeah,
appreciate the balls on Sonny Meta to go for that.
absolutely. Yeah, you and me both. I was a big fan of that too. Especially when, yeah, like you've got a deal on the table, they pull out last minute. It's like, all right, you know what? There's clearly, again, it's like you got to do it again. At the end of the day, for every gym, it's just you got to do what's best for your team. That's strictly what it comes down to.
Yeah. It's not about
It's
winning the trade. It's about your team getting better. People often
Yeah.
forget that and they'll look at trades and like, oh, this value is skewed. If does it make your team win more? Well, then how skewed is it really? You know?
Yeah. And in some cases, GMs and more particularly owners, doing what's best
Very
for their
particular
family.
owners.
We do gotta, we got to address it with the Carolina Hurricanes here on their recent Stanley Cup engraving. The photo dropped, I believe it was yesterday.
Yeah.
I think it was yesterday.
Mr. Law and Order himself, Mr. Dun Dun. What's even his first name? I want to say Eric, but that I'm thinking of Tulski. I don't know.
Tom?
The Tom Dundon. Close enough. You can Google at home Hurricanes owner. I don't want to know a lot of the owners' names if I'm honest. I like knowing all the coaches, the players, the
Tom
GMs.
Dundon. Yeah.
I don't care to know billionaires. Fuck that. That's not what I'm here for. But Tom Dundon, yeah, they announced the Stanley Cup had been engraved, put out the pictures, and the owner's always at the top. Sure. His whole goddamn family is on there. And I believe there's like 7-year-old kids there. There's I think there's like 8
A
of them.
7-year-old
There's
kid
so
who
many.
is going to school in Dallas is on the Stanley Cup.
It's ridiculous. And a lot of people are pointing out Peter Pocklington put his dad on the cup when the Oilers won the cup in one of the 80s years, the owner of the Oilers during the Gretzky era. And it has since been X'd out over that guy's entire name because the league was like, no, you have to be involved in winning the Stanley Cup. You can't just put your dad on there because that's cool. So a lot of people are wondering, is the league going to do this? Because it is up to the team who gets put on there. The league doesn't really mediate that. Like the league probably had no idea these people were going on here until this got announced today. It's not the league who does it. So I wonder if they are and a lot of people are pointing to a lot of the people on the cup from last year because the Panthers also had quite a few people related to the owner on there.
Had a lot of his, but they were all
those
part
ones
of the organization.
Yeah. And whether that's a job on paper, whether they actually did much, maybe some of them did a decent amount. I'm sure at least one of them did.
They've all got a role within the organization.
They did something. Yeah. The rule is if you're working for the org in basically any capacity, you're allowed to. If the Flyers won it this year, I have zero doubt in my mind Gritty's name is on the cup. Like they just put Gritty on there. And they're allowed to because he's part of the team. Assuming the league isn't weird about it and tell them to put the guy's like government name on there who's in the suit. That would be that'd be a crazy weird play by Bettman.
You got to just do Gritty.
Yeah, you can put concessions workers, you could put anyone, but they have to work for the team. That 7-year-old kid clearly doesn't. Most all the kids of the
most
Dundon
of that family doesn't. Yeah.
No, I don't think any of them did except for Tom, as far as I know. And
very good chance.
Yeah, so I'm very interested to see what happens.
I think there's a lot of and again, I don't know the exact names of the people in
there was a couple players that
just looking at it, you can tell that there's a lot of deserving people that weren't on there.
Yeah, 100%. There's been a lot of Canes fans like listing some players like, hey, this guy played like fucking 20 games for us. He was fine. He didn't do great, but like he played some games for us, and he's not on there. And there's a kid on there. What the fuck, man? And like, absolutely, they're 100% right. I have not seen a single Canes fan happy about this.
I don't think I haven't seen.
It's not going to make them upset with winning the cup, but like,
yeah.
Hopefully,
it just takes away a bit from the moment when because again, like when your team wins the cup, again, I don't know that feeling. Potentially one day,
The
I'll
cup
see
is
Darnell Nurse's name on there, but it's
so
like
prestigious.
players or fans wait to see that and wait to see the engravings of all the names on there and be like, that team is a part of history, and then to see it and be like, you get through the first two lines of there, and you're like, okay, I just see the owner and his entire fucking bloodline.
Yeah.
Like,
It
what are we doing?
You know how sometimes we talk about, every once in a while on this show, we talk about some of the awards. So the Selkie, the Hart, whatever, stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I'm often on the side of caring a bit more. And there's a decent amount of times where, like, I'll bring up this guy's skimming votes this way. He's putting McKinnon first. He's putting two guys he doesn't give a shit about next, and then he goes Kucherov, McDavid because he really wants McKinnon to win. So he's skimming votes. Shit like that annoys me. And
Mhm.
I think a lot of people think of that similar to you, how it's like, sure, but it's the individual awards. How much does it really matter? It feels like everyone is on the side I am with the awards about this because the Stanley Cup is a different beast entirely.
Yeah,
It is so
I'm
important and
with you. It's yeah,
our grandpa will go to the Hockey Hall of Fame and he will read all those names of guys who won it in the 40s and 50s. And it's like that shit's etched into history. It is so
yeah,
important to the game and the how we got here. It's just important to the legacy of it. And to think that in 70 years, somebody who goes in a Hall of Fame, looks at it and goes, man, there's a lot of this guy's fucking kids on here. And like, if they leave it, that opens the door for next year. Whoever's got Buddy wins it. He's gonna, oh, my nephew really doesn't like me because I don't pay attention to him. I'll put his name on the cup and maybe that'll get me some brownie points. And it's like, what are we doing, man? We're supposed to look at these lists and be like, these guys did the thing. They won the ultimate prize. Like,
yeah,
it's brutal. It's so funny because everyone's rallying around, especially the 7-year-old kid, because it's just like the biggest, most egregious outlier. And like nobody's blaming the kid. Obviously, we're all
yeah.
blaming
No,
the owner. The owner who is known for being shitty. They got a great
yeah,
coach in Carolina. They got a great GM. Their owner's always been a shithead. He's always been a
yeah.
cheap bastard and he sucks. And Canes fans will all tell you that. So
In my opinion, it should just be as simple as the owner, the GM. If you want to do assistant GM, sure. Coach, assistant coaches, and the players. Maybe I'm missing a few things here and there, but like in my opinion, that's what it should
sure,
be.
sure.
It,
Equipment
you know,
coaches, like guys who are there for a lot of
yeah.
it
If
and
you
stuff.
if you want to do equipment staff, equipment coach, whatnot, sure. But like again, yeah, to be just throwing out and your family members and being like, oh, you've got spots, just pick random people within the org. It's like just do just keep it simple. I don't like it's something that doesn't need to be that complicated. Are you part of the internal organization of the Carolina Hurricanes that made this possible to win a cup? Yes or
Yeah.
no? It's that simple. You know, uh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like again, if you're, in my opinion, if you're an AHL guy who played
The
10
GM should be
games in the
making these
regular
choices as well.
season, like you shouldn't be on the cup because you're not getting a ring. So like you shouldn't be on the cup. Like it just should just be keeping it simple, and it
Yeah.
doesn't seem like it's going to be that way now or anytime soon. And again, I don't like seeing some guy's entire bloodline slapped on the cup just because he can. But we'll see if that changes in the future. We'll see if anything comes of this. But
Bettman was pretty harsh on Pocklington when that happened and when they realized and they X'd it out. So I'm hoping and fuck, Bettman is nothing if a guy who doesn't love to stick to his guns and say I'm right. So
mhm,
that gives me some hope that he's going to come out and be like, Tom did that. You can't do that. We're going to cross that shit out. And
yeah,
now we'll have a whole bunch of more X's on there. But either way, it's too bad that it took the spots from a couple other guys that were probably pretty deserving. And hopefully they fix that because that's just lame. It's just fucking lame.
yeah. No, I'm with you. We can move on into some of the major free agent signings here. Again, for these ones, we only have some of the big notable ones that happened over the last week and a bit here. So if we do miss any signings that you want us to talk about or any from your team, let us know. In the comments on YouTube or through any of the socials. You can let us know if we didn't talk about any of your guys or anything with your team. Let us know, and we'll circle back to it again. Just because there's so many signings, so
Yeah.
it's hard to choose which ones. We kind of just pick the ones that we think are kind of the biggest ones throughout all of them. So again, if we miss any, let us know. We'll gladly circle back to them. But these are the ones we have for this one, and we might as well start with I think the biggest name um, from day one of free agency, John Carlson to your Tampa Bay Lightning.
Yeah, I mean, way bigger name than Ovi. No, I'm
Ovi
just kidding.
wasn't
I don't.
on July 1 though.
Oh, that's so true. Was Carlson July
I
1?
did that. Yep,
He had to have been a day later.
I think so. Wasn't he? Oh, maybe he was. I thought he was like
If
right at
he,
the end of day one, like late.
I thought it was at the day of end of day 2 or 3. If it was day
Well,
1, that was a
maybe it was. Maybe it
crazy
was
long
day
day
2.
for me. But it's
Maybe it
a
was day
blur,
2.
and I thought we were going to end up. I did believe we were the team that he was going to go to. I thought we
Yeah.
were going to have to give him 2 years at like 11 or 11.5 mil. 8.5 mil is such a surprise and so awesome. I love this signing. I mean, it's Darren Radish, but he's done it for 15 years. Like, it's
And you're only paying him for
sure
2 years.
there's age. He might fall off a bit, but it's so much more proven than a guy like Darren Radish, who I do believe will mostly replicate what he did last season again for the Leafs. But
Mhm.
I have even more faith that John Carlson's going to be elite for us on the back end. We don't need him long term. We need him for those 2 years, and I love this signing. He's going to play with JJ Moser at 5-on-5, and on that top pairing, he's going to be power play 1. Uh, Hedman probably goes power play 2, I would assume, and it's going to be real fun. I'm excited to see what he can do. He's one of those guys he was such a lifer in Washington for so long that it it's interesting to think about him playing elsewhere. And obviously we saw him already in Anaheim, but like for a full season, um that's it, it's just weird. It's he's been there so long, and he's not quite a flagship guy because they always had Ovi and they had Backstrom for so long, but like he's one of those guys that it is strange to see him wearing a different jersey.
Yeah. No,
Um
absolutely. Yeah, and it's interesting, seeing again, again, like Anaheim did trade him to Carolina, his signing rights, and again, Carolina trades for someone, and they just won the cup. They can't get guys to want to sign there. Again, I don't know if it's a city thing there in Raleigh. I don't know if it's an organization thing. I don't know what it is. Guys that unless they've been there for time and are part of the organization from early on in their careers, they don't want to sign there. And again, Carolina gave up it was like a 7th rounder to get a chance to sign him first, and he said no, goes to Tampa. Obviously going to be huge for the power play, going to be huge for 5-on-5.
it's kind of the
This
second
signing,
big name
though,
we've snaked from the Canes in a couple years
yeah,
now.
yeah, Jake
First
Gensel.
Gensel. Like,
This signing kind of makes me wonder if we're starting to see the end of the Victor Hedman era in Tampa Bay. Just when you look at it now, again, last season was not great by any means for him, and this was prior to the injuries and the off ice stuff, and then not come back for the playoffs and all that. But now you look at it, yeah, John Carlson, like it makes all the sense in order to put him beside JJ Moser's your best defensive defenseman. You've got Chernak and McDonough, like that's a very, very solid pairing. So Victor Hedman's kind of your odd guy out in terms of your top 6. And now he's also the guy that's just going to be the guy that is going to have like rotating guys in and out with him. And again, for a guy that has been your top defense for the longest time, I think it kind of feels like he's the odd guy out of your decor. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm completely wrong. But again, like it does kind of feel like even though he's your captain, it feels like he's kind of the odd guy out. Kind of similar to when just before Stamkos left, it kind of felt like he was the odd guy out. And again, he was the captain, everything, but just when the organization, and again, Tampa's in that constant win now mode, which they should, because Kucherov's not going to do anything for you in 5 years when he's at the tail end of his career, right? Like the goal is to win now. Yeah, I don't know if you feel that way, but that's just kind of the way that I feel. That it's like,
I completely agree. Like, I don't think he's alone in that spot, but it's a weird group of guys fighting for spots because Moser's going to be number 1 lefty. Carlson's going to be number 1 right D. That's pretty solid. I'd be shocked if it doesn't end up that way.
You and I both, yeah.
And then whether you want to call it the second or third pairing doesn't matter. They're going Chernak and McDonough. That's been that Chernak just plays so much better with McDonough that they went out and brought him back after losing him to Nashville. Like that's absolutely going to be another pairing. So now you've got Hedman and Lilleberg. Lilleberg, who took a kind of surprising step. I was shocked at how much of a step he took last season.
Who's
on the left
defenseman
side.
They lost? Oh, Crozier. Was it Crozier?
It was. I believe it was Crozier. It was either Crozier or Carlisle. I get the two mixed up pretty frequently.
Oh, it was Carlisle because I think he went to Pittsburgh.
Yeah. So then we've got Crozier and Dastu, who Crozier's a right D, so he might sneak into the lineup because he's a natural right D. Dastu has played on the right side but is left-handed. And then you've got Hedman and Lilleberg weirdly dueling it out for that last spot on the left side, which it's
going to Hedman, but
sure. But are we going to play is Lilleberg ready to play on the off side? He's not a guy that we should be scratching at this point. I think he's well better than that, but it does lend us to a weird spot where I wouldn't be totally shocked if they ended up rolling 11 forward 7D, and John Cooper loves doing that. I wouldn't be shocked if he's done it more than any coach in the last 5 years. Yeah, which is crazy because we have a lot of guys who could play up front too. So I'm very interested to see how the lineup shakes up. But yeah, I could definitely see Hedman playing very sheltered 5-on-5 minutes and then getting solid power play 2 time. And if he wants to play on the penalty kill, I'm sure he could still do that. But yeah, I think he's going to get a reduced role next season, and I'm really hoping for a bounce back because of it.
Yeah, but I mean, all in all, the John Carlson, that's a solid signing, and it is a good contract. So good. Stanley Cup winning goaltender Frederik Andersen signs a 1-year, $1 million deal with Edmonton. There is obviously a lot of bonuses and extra shit in there, but right now it is a 1-by-1. Again, it's a guy that got Carolina the Cup final, and probably still would have won in the Cup if he didn't get injured, whatnot. But this is so typical of Edmonton of not committing to a goalie long term. They did trade, a third round pick for Devin Levi, which could have some upside. But again, this is a goalie to just fill the gap until you can figure out what you want to do long term. And again, did Frederik Andersen win a cup in Carolina? Yeah. Was he phenomenal in the playoffs? Yeah. But again, like I've said, every goalie that goes to Carolina is good because they play a good defensive system. And again, not to say Frederik Andersen's a bad goalie, but I don't think we've had the opportunity to really see if he's a bad goalie in Carolina because
that's fair.
Every goalie does good there. Again, a guy that was on waivers earlier in the season ended up being the guy in net, winning them a cup, and got a shutout in doing so.
Yeah,
so is he going to be able to put up great numbers
sexy
in Edmonton? Maybe.
I do like it as a signing.
Because, I don't mind it
because they can't sit on their hands with
it's
goaltending
typical
anymore.
Edmonton still, though. It's just the typical cycle. It's no different really than the. And again, the only difference really is Frederik Andersen won a cup. But again, that doesn't matter as much in my opinion. But it's it's the same as the Cam Talbot. Oh, we lost Cam Talbot. What do we do? Oh, Mike Smith's out there. We go and grab Mike Smith, and then it just kind of feels like that to me. You just grab a veteran goalie on a cheap, short-term deal, and you hope it works. And again, Frederik Andersen is a good goalie, but every goalie looks good in Carolina.
Yeah.
Because they just play defensive hockey first, whereas Edmonton is offense first. And maybe it's different with Mike Babcock, but at this point, who knows what kind of system they're going to have there. So it's low risk, high reward, I guess, is what you could say. But it just doesn't feel like I don't know.
It's
Again, for Edmonton, I would
it's
have
not
liked
the
seeing.
sexiest name they could have
Yeah,
gotten for their crease. I like it better than their last few gambles in the net, but
absolutely. Yeah, I will agree with you on that.
yeah,
Absolutely.
man, it's so hard not to just constantly look over at Minnesota and be like, fuck. It doesn't matter which guy you target. Can you pry one of them from them? They seem to
Yeah.
want to move on from one of them. At this point, it looks a lot more likely it's Gustafsson. What would be wrong with Gustafsson in Edmonton? That would be
Yeah.
awesome. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So hopefully this or Devin Levi work out for him. Uh, it remains to be seen.
Yeah. I included this in here because this is a player that I'm a very big fan of. Anders Lee signs a 3-year, $5.4 million deal with Utah. Just recently turned 36 a couple days ago on July 3rd. I included this because, again, I think Anders Lee gets a little bit overlooked, honestly, because he was on the Islanders, but like a very consistent, 40 to 55 point guy consistently, like 20 to 25 goals. And it's also weird that, again,
big locker room
it's
leader.
not, huge locker room leader, was the captain of the Islanders. And it's not very often you see teams let their captains walk to free agency. And we saw a couple of those.
With that little fanfare, no less.
This offseason. Yeah.
Like when Stamkos ended up leaving Tampa, like that was huge news. I haven't seen like anybody talk about this one. How long has Lee been there?
I've seen it, but he's been there since the 2012-13 season. I mean, again, maybe it's just because I've seen a lot more Islander stuff pop up. But I have seen a fair bit of stuff. But obviously, again, like it's not the same level as Stamkos because again, just two very different players and whatnot. But again, to me, in my opinion, it's just always weird to see a captain just go to free agency and the team just kind of let him go. But again, I think it was time. Lee is now, 36 years old. The Islanders are starting to kind of, continue through this retool process. Utah's all in, a lot of young guys. You need a good veteran leader. Will provide some great, depth scoring for them, which they desperately need. So
we were talking about how good their centers are. They can use that help on the wing, though.
Yeah, especially I do think it is a. Yeah. It's a good win for everyone. I think again, the Islanders, like, it is going to hurt losing Lee, but you got to open up room for the young guys, and it is time for probably Bo Horvat, I think, to take the reins as the captain there.
I don't know.
No,
don't get me wrong. He'd be a good captain, but I wouldn't be shocked if Schaefer became a captain before Celebrini.
I don't think
they
so.
love that kid on the island.
They love him.
He's very well spoken.
I think you don't put that extra pressure on him. You just let him play hockey and have fun. Not be like, you got to be the guy who's facing the brunt of the media when the team plays bad. I don't think they'd look at it like that.
I think it'd be you
got to nowadays.
He gets to represent the team. It's not he has to do this. It's he gets to do this. Like,
he strikes me as
but he's that Crosby type of guy that I think he wants that.
So let me reword it. He gets to be blamed by the media when the team struggles. And again, in a retool, he gets to have to face all the hard questions for poor performances, whether it's from him or the team. Or do you just let the kid play hockey and have fun? Put the pressure on a veteran and say, you know what, Schaefer, like, you'll be our captain one day, but right now, just play hockey, have fun, and do what you're good at, and just be a good player for us. If you want to be an assistant captain, sure, but like, I don't think he needs that pressure right now. I think you let the kid play hockey and
I just don't see it
let
as
him
pressure.
Have fun with it.
What pressure is there for the Islanders? Nobody's expecting much from him.
But that's the thing. At the end of the day, reporters are always going to find a way. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. And do you want this kid being like, hey, we just lost 10-1. You got to go out and face the media and explain why we suck.
You don't have to. There's plenty of teams after a shellacking, they don't send the captain to do it.
But most teams, especially when it is
plenty of times where teams, you know what? None of our good players want to talk. Let's send Simone Benoit and fucking Scott Lawton to talk to the media. Like, whatever. Like,
but I just don't think you need to. And I'm confidently going to say he will not be named captain at all in the offseason.
It's very likely. He's still crazy young. Is he even?
Yeah.
Is he even 19 yet?
Again, like, is Celebrini probably going to captain of the Sharks? Yeah. Am I on the thing of like, oh, he has to be like, if you don't name him captain by the end of the offseason, it's a travesty. No,
Has to. Yeah,
because
has
again,
to is weird.
You just let the
not
kids
needed.
play hockey, and if they name a captain, cool. But I don't think they need to. I don't think it's a given or a lock. Again, I think you go with a veteran and a guy like Horvat, and again, just let the kid play hockey. In my opinion, I think just let him focus on developing.
I don't know. In my opinion, the C
mature.
doesn't change that much. It doesn't change it.
What does it
drastically.
do for him? But it doesn't do anything for him by giving him the C.
It gives him a confidence boost.
Bro's already got all the fucking confidence in the world. He just unanimously won the Calder.
Yeah.
He's 18 years old, and the NHL is like, yeah, we want you being our lead reporter at the draft. Like,
well, would you rather Celebrini repeat what he did last year, or would you rather him improve? I'd
rather have him improve.
Oh, exactly. Always
and
up,
if that
right?
means he doesn't need to be the captain, I'm all for it. If it means just, hey, we'll give the C to Wenberg and just go out there and play hockey and help the team win, I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Something
about the Islanders situation, like, it's weird because it feels like Bedard should be the captain at this point in Chicago. I don't think. Wait, is he?
No,
he's not.
It's easy to do it when the team is on the up and coming, but doing it when they're in a tough time, in my opinion, again, I don't think you need to.
Yeah, it's just like the situation he's in. They got a good enough team around him that I think he'd be fine with it. Bedard is like a case where, like, now it is that added pressure on him, and he doesn't have a Bo Horvat. He doesn't have those guys to look to. He's on a damn island and without a contract, and he's out for 4 months now.
And busted shoulder. I get the whole thing, but I'm always just in the thing of like, you don't need to. Like, it's easy to do it when you've got a young, great talent and the team's on the upswing and is going to be good for a while, but when they're in a tough spot in the middle, I think you let the kid play hockey. And again, he knows that team has all the faith in him. He knows he's going to be there for his entire career, probably whatnot. So I don't think
I think he's a guy who would enjoy going to talk to the refs. I think he'd be great at massaging the refs, learning how to do that and stuff. And
he can still learn that without a letter, though.
You ain't wrong. I'm not saying he has to be captain. I think it wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, and again, different.
He's 18 or 19 years old. Like, it would be very early. But
I would just say, just let the kids play and let the grown-ups kind of handle that kind of stuff, and just let the kids have fun and play hockey.
Yeah.
Anders Lee.
Good for Anders Lee.
Off to Utah. I am a big Anders Lee fan, so I'm rooting for him in Utah. Another captain who walked to free agency, Boone Jenner, your boy Boone Jenner.
Another captain who has been with the team for over a decade and just walked to free agency and
hasn't been a captain for a decade, but like been with the team for a decade.
He's been with the team for, I think, 13 or 14 years. He's been a captain for
for
at least a bit.
4 years?
That few? Who was the captain before?
Maybe it's been. It probably was Nick Foligno. So actually, he probably has been captain for a decent bit.
Foligno.
I don't know if there was a guy in between.
I was like, "There's no way we're going back to Rick Nash, right?" Like,
no.
I mean, they don't have a ton of high-profile players in their team.
I still remember the day Rick Nash got traded.
Cam Atkinson's on their Mount Rushmore. Like, that's crazy.
Ass. Well, not Cam Atkinson, just their Mount Rushmore in general. It's just ass.
Yeah.
1, 2, 5 years.
Okay.
So Nick Foligno was the guy before him. Boone Jenner actually just the very next season was named captain. They went 3 years after Rick Nash. Their longest captain in franchise history is Nick Foligno. 6 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 years.
See, like he just went to free agency again. Maybe it's because they're a smaller market, Columbus, but
Nick Foligno didn't go to free agency.
Oh no, sorry. Boone.
Boone.
He just walked walked to free agency and very little fanfare. Just went and signed with another team. He was 1 year away from being tied for the longest captain in franchise history, and just kind of walked to free agency and gone. Like this is a team that even if they don't have room for him, can you afford hemorrhaging talent like that? Boone Jenner's not
Yeah.
phenomenal, but like if my team traded for him at the deadline and for a first round pick, I'd love that.
Mhm.
He's worth that at the deadline. Like
Yeah.
you, you got to be getting assets back for some of these guys because man, you got a lot of guys who look like they want to leave at times, and
You could have
they've
gotten lots back for
historically had a
Boone
lot of
Jenner,
trouble.
and we knew Columbus wasn't going to make the playoffs. I mean,
Yeah.
again, maybe
They made a good
the
push
unfortunate
late
part
and
of
then fell
of
off.
bringing Rick Bonus gave some unrealistic expectations to the team, but it wasn't a playoff team. And again, you lose a guy like Boone Jenner, that's a great ad for Washington for that third line center. Like again, you move out McMichael as a part to get Jordan Kyrou for the top six. You bring in Boone Jenner, who is he better offensively than McMichael? No. But does he bring more leadership, defensive game, and better for that third line center role? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's great for Washington. It's great for Boone Jenner. It's a good contract. He's got a good chance to win a cup there because Washington might have the deepest forward core in the league at this point.
Definitely the deepest
sides.
wingers.
Yeah.
Gotta be, right?
Biggest forward core. Like their team's just a bunch of fucking mutants.
Monsters.
So that's just one of those good deals for both sides. So I can't complain. So it's tough for Columbus, but we kind of knew most of the year that he was gone. So I don't know why they didn't move him, but it's Columbus. I think everyone's still trying to just figure out what's going on there.
Yeah.
We know Zach Werenski's staying though. That is one thing we know there.
Yes, that is true. Yeah, I guess that was still going on with our last episode. He axed the idea of a trade that was set up for him to go to Dallas, which is crazy to say.
Wild.
No, the Stars. He just he didn't want to go to Dallas when he's in Columbus asking out, which like that is wild. And then after that, he just went home, talked with his family a bit more, came back to the team and was like, actually, I do not want to leave. I want to win here.
Now, does it mean he's going to sign extension next offseason? Who knows?
I'm very interested to see. I hope he does. I
would too. I
the
would
Blue
like
Jackets
to see him.
deserve to have an elite player say, fuck it, I just want to be here.
Yeah.
Like I would love nothing more than that.
Absolutely.
But it's
he's sticking around at least for the time being in Columbus, so we'll see what goes on there.
Is he getting the captaincy?
Yeah. I don't think there's anyone else you can give it to.
Do you think they give it to him like what if he doesn't? What if he does leave next offseason?
Yeah, that's the tough part. Like, do you give it to him knowing like it might only be for 1 year? That is tough, actually. Yeah, I'm not going to say it's a guarantee, but like it's easiest to go with him. But
do you think they go a year without, and then if he extends, they announce the extension with a C on his jersey kind of deal?
I actually kind of think that is the way to go.
Yeah, and if not,
then it is. It's very clearly his locker room, but we can't just give you the C and knowing that you might be gone. Like it's like,
yeah,
we'll circle back to it next offseason, and if you want to extend here and stick around, the captaincy is yours. If you want to move on, we get it, and we'll get a deal done, type of thing. It's probably the way they do it.
Who do you think it would be if he does end up leaving? Do you think
I think you go 3 years without a captaincy, just like you did when Rick Nash left.
Do you think you go a transitional guy? Like you hope it's one of the young guys later, but for the time being, you go with a guy like Sean Monahan. A guy who's clearly been like a very emotional leader in that locker room.
I mean, you could. I think he would be the best option, but I think they go the route of just no captain, and you wait for one of your young guys to step up and take that.
They need to
go
because you also get that vibe in the locker room that Vegas had the first year in the league. They really need to be like the group of misfits thrown together that just bands together and fucking plays hockey and
Just
can
wants
end
to
up
win.
winning. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'd be good for them. I'm gonna quickly adjust something here, but Sergei Bobrovsky, one of your favorite goalies, signing in Toronto.
Not
What do you feel
especially,
on that?
but I like him a little bit more than I did a couple weeks ago, so I'll give you that. Um, yeah, 3 years, 7 mil per with Toronto. That is $21 million for those who can do the math. That is a lot less for those who can do the math of the $42 million he was hoping to get. So he was clearly hoping to get a 7x6 deal done at some point in this offseason, and he didn't. No, nobody was wanting that after he put up what he put up an eight. I think it was like an 875 or something last year. Like it was very rough. 877 over 52 games. That's pretty brutal on an incredibly depleted Florida team. I I'd like this. I like this for Toronto. They have a tandem that, first of all, we know works. It is aging, but Stolars and Bobrovsky literally won a cup as a tandem, and Bobrovsky's won too. The first year that the Panthers won the cup, those were the two goalies. And not only that, I believe I have heard that Bobrovsky is the uh his old goalie coach was Curtis McElhaney, who is now the goalie coach in Toronto. So a lot of familiarity for Bobrovsky. This is one of those cases where you could look at it as he's falling off, but I'm just betting on talent. This guy's been really good for a really long time. He had one down year. The whole fucking team sucked, and I expect him to bounce back in a big way for Toronto. And he's a guy that can play a lot of games. Like, he's always playing 50 plus games. And Toronto hasn't had that in a long time. Man, every goalie they've had in the last while has been so injury prone that they're going to love having a starter.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. It's a again, it's the best goalie Toronto's had in the Austin Matthews era. It's a huge upgrade in my opinion over Joseph Woll. And again, yeah, it's a tandem. And again, it's probably gonna be Bobrovsky's the starter, Stolarz is the backup, but it's a starter and a backup tandem, whatever it is in the end. They won a cup in Florida. Again, Florida, very different team than Toronto, but Toronto had a sneaky good offseason and really did improve their
Chaika making moves.
bottom six. They made their blue line more mobile and not a bunch of statues out there. So I'm curious to see how it works out. And again, yeah, Bobrovsky's a huge upgrade. We know he's taking 72, which again is kind of wild that I don't remember the last time ever we've seen a first overall pick get drafted. And it's like they've kind of got their number, and it's like, oh, they got to give it away.
Not even to a guy already on the team.
90,
a guy who gets
92.
A guy who gets signed after you've been drafted. McKenna's part of the org for longer than Bobrovsky. Which is hilarious to say.
The veteran, so I do expect Bobrovsky to.
I appreciate that from Bob. I appreciate that because, frankly, I think 72 kind of sucks ass as a hockey number.
Hey, don't shit talk Willie Macklin like that.
In my opinion, God, something about Swedes with 70s hits a little different. But 72, not a super sexy number. His new 92 number, 92,
pretty dope
for a high skill scoring winger. 92 rules. I love that.
And we know, and I'm assuming Bobrovsky, you got to buy the kid a Rolex or something like that. That's
Happy
the
Meal,
way it works.
Whatever he wants.
Well, maybe bottoms a fucking shit ton of beers at Stampede. If anyone's seen the videos, they know Gavin McKenna is having himself quite the time at the Calgary Stampede this year. But yeah, for Toronto, I mean, it is just it's a good signing, and again, yeah, your goal is to win. This is a great way to prove to Austin Matthews we're trying to win. That was the whole thing. Is Austin Matthews needed proof before he was going to commit long term. You got a 2-time cup-winning goalie. You made the blue line more offensively inclined and mobile to help out 5v5 in the power play. You improved your bottom six to play more of a shutdown role and on the PK. Again, people were shitting on Chaika, and I was a little bit optimistic because, again, when he was a bonehead in Arizona. He was 26. Like who hasn't done dumb shit in their life when they're fucking 26? Like, so I never really judged him too much on that, and he's gone
Like
to Toronto on it.
you're 20. Are you 26 right now?
Yeah, I'm 26 right now.
Like imagine you
Again, would
being
I
in
have been a
charge,
better
a
GM than
of a team.
Chaika at that time? Like, yeah, I'd probably have multiple cups right now. I'd be big money Mike out there, but
you would have brought a cup to
big,
Arizona for sure.
Big Bill Brundy is what I would be called.
God, what a time to be alive.
But again, he's done a good job in Toronto. Like I can't bash what he's done there.
I like a
it's
lot
been
of the
solid so far. So I got to tip my cap to him and to this signing again. It's proven to your players, hey, we want to win, and they do have. You know what? Again, I stayed optimistic about the Jim Hiller signing. So I'll continue with that. Again, I forgot that he was brought in as the coach there, but we'll hold out hope that works out. But solid offseason for Toronto when things were looking pretty doom and gloom for a bit before that draft lottery win.
Not only that, but it also puts them in a this is like the best spot they've been in so long, because they have done a very good turnaround this offseason, and they are going to be aiming for the playoffs. And I think that's definitely within reach. It's going to be tough being in the Atlantic, but I think the goal is the playoffs. And I think everyone knows that because they missed last year, which means if they make the first round and they go out in the first round, I don't think people are going to, it's not going to be the same reaction as all the other years. First round again, got them. Like, no, they made it. It's going to be a lot closer to, Montreal 2 or 3 years ago, where it's okay. They made the playoffs. Sure, they got their asses beat, but like, that's the first step. Next year, we'll take the next step. So he has that year buffer now, I think, of being able to really improve this team without that immense pressure that they were under. So I think that's huge. Another big thing is Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment, MLSE, is now completely owned by Rogers. I don't know how much before it was, but apparently it's 100% owned by Rogers now. There's some acquisition. Rogers. Yeah, no, fuck Rogers. Those guys suck.
Fuck Rogers. Fuck Rogers. They actually are. They actually are the worst. Like envision like the worst people in the world all gathered in a room. Oh, congratulations! You just pictured Rogers' boardroom.
They earlier today they let go Haley Wickenheiser, who had been with the team for 8 years. Which holy, didn't realize it was already 8 years. I thought it was like 3.
Yeah, when I saw that one, it makes sense though. Again, like it's kind of going into kind of the same core a bit with Toronto, kind of minus Mitch Marner, but they are kind of moving into a new era of Maple Leafs hockey, and it is pretty crazy though, because wasn't she the assistant GM?
And assistant GM or like assistant to the GM. I'm not sure if it was one of those.
Toronto Marlies just won the Calder Cup, which is kind of run by the assistant. She herself said
she expected GM to get a new deal and stick around. It sounds like a lot of these other ones are business moves, are ways to, Derek Lalonde is out as the assistant coach, and he's also going to the Canadians. That one, I think, is a coaching move. They're bringing in a new guy that they just like better. They want a fresh set of eyes. This feels a little more like Rogers being like, hey, how much is she really doing? She's making there's quite a few zeros on those contracts, on those paychecks. That something about this one feels a little more Rogers than Chaika move. Just
it wouldn't necessarily be Chaika's call. I don't think he'd really have much to say in this. I have seen a lot of people upset about this. For me, I think it's fine because I think there's a huge role somewhere for Haley Wickenheiser within the PWHL. I think she's. Again, I don't know where, and again, I don't view it as a downgrade. Like obviously, the NHL is always going to continue to pull way more numbers and money than the PWHL. That's just a fact.
Sure.
But I think it's a bigger role for her because I think she can be a huge part of growing that league, growing the game for women's hockey, and continuing to do that within
Imagine
that
her
league.
As the Bettman.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, why not? Like, why not?
That'd be like when Daniel Bryan was SmackDown general manager. It's just like, oh, cool. We're just gonna have a fun time on the TV instead of it being some like dickhead. We don't
Yeah,
like
again, is that the role she gets? I don't know, but again, I think there's a huge role
probably
for
not,
somewhere in
but
the PWHL, and she's gonna have a great career and do many things. So
yeah,
again,
there's
I
a
think
bit
getting
of a
out of the
cap
Leafs
on what she can
organization
do in the NHL right
is good for
now.
her.
I think the NHL is still too afraid to even a woman as prolific as Haley Wickenheiser to make her a GM or
Yeah.
something like that. I think people like Jessica Campbell, I think they're getting us a little bit closer to seeing a head coach one day, hopefully. But they're just pansies, and I
Hmm.
think they're too afraid, even if
Yeah.
she'd be right for the job right now. I think any team in the PWHL would make her head coach, would make her GM. They would, hell, if she's got the money, and she probably does, she could be the owner of a team if she wants to. She could do basically whatever she wants in that league if the role is
Hmm.
open. So
Yeah. Sky's
I
the
hope
limit. Absolutely.
I hope she goes there instead of just to another NHL team. I think she could be huge for
Absolutely.
that.
Simone Nemec signing a 5-year, $7.25 million deal with the Flames. Was a pending RFA. Was member of the Devils not too long ago. Traded to Calgary and has now locked himself in with the Flames. Um, this is a good little bit longer term bridge deal.
Buys a year
Because
of
again,
UFA.
I think again, I just don't know necessarily what we're going to get from Simone Nemec in Calgary, as we haven't seen anything. But obviously, Simone Nemec is a player that does have a very high ceiling, so we'll see where he can get to in Calgary, what his role will be, and all that type of stuff. So very curious to just see how it plays out. But on the face value of it, it's a good deal. The Flames have the money, and again, Simone Nemec is going to
Yeah.
get lots of playing time on that Flames blue line. Very curious to see the workload between him and a guy like Zane Parekh. I'm still on the camp and kind of on the fence that I don't think the Flames are totally bought in on Zane Parekh long term.
I
They
agree.
should be.
I think
They
they want
absolutely
to be.
should be.
They need a
But
little proof of concept. Zane Parekh hasn't done much at the NHL
but again,
level.
they got to give him the chance. That's what it comes down
100%.
to. People say he hasn't proven himself, but it's like it feels like the Flames are. And again, I don't necessarily think that it's their goal, but it feels like they were actively trying to hinder his development last year. To me,
Yeah.
that's what it felt like. The way they were playing him for a couple games, sitting him for 5, throwing him in for 1. Like
But
you gotta let the kid play. You gotta let him
this is
build
the
up
kind of
that
guy that
confidence. And
everyone keeps saying you got to shelter him. People keep saying he's so bad at defense, you got to shelter him. Fuck, at a certain point, he's got to learn to play
stick
some
him with.
defense.
Yeah.
He's got to learn to play some defense on his own, you know? You can't be
Hmm.
so offense that you can only go out there when paired with Kevin Ball. Like, you know,
Yeah.
you at least have to be defensively responsible enough that we can trust you on power play 1, you know?
Yeah.
Like, and that the bar for that is pretty damn low.
And I
But
wouldn't be shocked if that's what they told him this offseason is like, hey, just work on your defensive game, work on your positioning, and sky's the limit for you. Like he could opening night lineup, he could be first pairing, first power play, and
yeah.
hold that all season long. But again,
Uh
it's
where do you
see.
have them in the depth chart? What do you think?
I mean, right now, I think
What
Simone Nemec
Nemec,
they have
Parekh?
higher than Parekh, but I could see a world where after training camp and in preseason, Parekh ends up as their number 1 right hand defenseman. Nemec slides in as 2, and that's the way it goes for however
Yeah.
long.
Yeah. I
I'm probably
personally
same
I
thing.
think I
Parekh
almost
power
think
play
they're
1,
tied. I think they're
Nemec power
tied and
play
it's just
2.
like they're going to go into camp and it's just going to be all right. One of you is our top right-handed D. One of you is hopefully at least going to be our second. Let's see who does better.
Yeah,
It's just going to
played a
be
little battle in training camp.
the head coach is just going to get up there. He's going to get a real good man spread going. He's going to be sitting in like the 3rd row and he's just going to say, all right, I'm going to watch practice for an hour. Dazzle me.
Yeah.
See what happens. And I absolutely love this extension for the Flames. They get a year of UFA. That's a very, very reasonable cap hit. Like, that's
Mhm.
a tiny bit rich for his current production. But he's a 2nd overall pick and he's 22 years old. There's no
Yeah.
reason that, especially with more ice time, more chance, his he should set career highs in all major categories this upcoming season. I really like this deal for the Flames, and man, if they can develop Nemec and develop Parekh and Carroll's coming up, holy shit.
They're gonna have a good blue, like their blue line, like the pieces are there. It's really just comes down to they got to figure out the forwards, because again, a lot of good talent there, but again, you don't have those game breakers. Like you don't have those guys that are like you've already looking like that's a first line winger for us long term, first line center. Like they got to figure out those pieces. But like your goaltending situation solid, your defense solid, your depth, whoever it ends up being is solid. It's really just like that those top end forwards. I think they're missing, and maybe one of the guys they have in the organization will develop into that. It's always possible, but on face value right now, like they don't have that. So I am curious to see how that kind of goes for them.
Yeah, they're definitely hoping for a big bounce back from guys like Coronado, and hoping that some of those guys, Gridden can take a step. But man, it's going to be a fun Flames team to watch next year. They're not necessarily going to be good, but it's going to be a very fun team to watch.
It's going to be a young, fun team. Absolutely.
I think they're at the point where they're hoping for that San Jose, not this past year that just happened, but the year before season, where they're just hoping the team can catch vibes. They don't even have to make. They don't have to make the playoffs. They don't even have to be that good. They just have to be happy. Like where did the Sharks finish 2 seasons ago?
Dead last.
Was it dead last? Like that's shocking to me. Just remembering how fucking awesome all Sharks fans felt on that season. And then you compare it to the Blackhawks, where they're like the Wojak that's all shaded in and fucked up, and he's like having the worst time possible. Like.
Yeah, because the Sharks had the best chance of getting number 1 to draft Schaefer, and they failed to do it. Still got a phenomenal talent in Misa. And, I think Misa's gonna surprise a lot of people.
He's really good.
Flames young team, Sharks young team. A player that's not very young anymore. Alexander Ovechkin re-signs with the Capitals on a 1-year, $3.25 million deal. I never got the sense he was done yet. It just didn't feel like it, especially when you look at all the moves the Capitals are making. Like they're gearing up to go on a big deep run next year, a big heavy team, and it's like Ovi's coming back. Like probably like at this point now, third line. I think with some of the players they brought in with like Tuck and Kyrou,
I would hope so,
and whatnot. But again, like Ovi's a guy you can roll out on the third line and on the power play.
Both
and he's
power
probably
play
still going to get you 30 goals. 50 points.
Spencer Carberry already knows how to play him. It was game 81 where he took his first defensive zone faceoff.
Zone start. Yeah.
Like they know what he is, and that's just so important. Like Carberry's the kind of coach where like they have so many wingers, they don't need him at all. But like a guy like Patrick Laine, he's the type of coach that could really benefit from his team signing a guy like that, because he knows exactly how to deploy a one-dimensional player like that. And it was really impressive how he handled Ovechkin last year. I think he's going to do it again this year and just have way more forward depth to do it with. The Capitals are going to be freaking nasty next year, man.
They're going to be good.
That's a good ass team.
They're going to be good next year. And people say, oh, they don't have John Carlson. Yeah, they got Cole Hudson, who, if he's anything like what he looked at the tail end of last season, he's going to be a rock star and is going to be up there for the Calder. So the Calder race for next year is also looking pretty exciting.
Yeah. People keep talking about John Carlson. I don't know if this is even a hot take, and I don't like saying it because he's now on my team. John Carlson wasn't their best defenseman. That was Jacob Chychrun.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Jacob Chychrun was handedly better. I would say, not by a huge amount, but I think he's solidly one
Absolutely. Yep.
We were saying he should be on the Olympic team.
Yeah. Team Canada, Olympic team, that is.
I just said the Olympic team because I couldn't remember if he was Canadian or American, honestly.
He's listed as American, but he qualifies for the Canadian team. So it's kind of one of those weird ones. last couple signings here. Skipped over these because figured we'll do them together here as it will blend over into the trades. Mason Marchment. Kind of seemed like he was like the biggest named forward free agent that was available. Signing a 5-year, $6.75 deal with the San Jose Sharks. And along with it, Jacob Trouba, not long after, signing a 4-year, $8.25 million deal with the Sharks. So a couple big boys coming to the Bay.
Yeah, and we can talk about more about the trade and what it means for Edmonton after, but San Jose also trading for Darnell Nurse as well. I figure we might as well
Yeah.
talk about these all as one,
Yeah.
just because they're a couple of rather similar players, especially considering two are defensemen, one's a forward. Like, that's 3 big bodies. Those are some big
Yeah.
motherfuckers. That makes
Mason.
the Sharks a lot harder to play against.
Yeah, when you consider, the Sharks' big acquisition last offseason, Kiefer Sherwood, not big, but physical and loves to throw the body around.
Oh, wrecking ball.
Mason Marchment, 6'5", 216. Darnell Nurse, 6'4", 215, loves to play a physical game. Jacob Trouba, 6'3", 210. We know he loves to play a physical game. And Michael Kesselring, 6'5", 205 or something in there. So
Some big boys
the Sharks had their game plan to get bigger, get more physical, get nastier, because you've already got the offensive talent and whatnot. So I mean, we'll see how it works. But for Mason Marchment, I mean, he's a guy that's been tied to San Jose for years now. Obviously his dad, the late Brian Marchment, played with the Sharks. Great defenseman there, and part of the organization after his playing career, unfortunately passed away. So Mason Marchment kind of grew up in San Jose at times in his childhood and always had ties to the team. He said it was his favorite team growing up, and to now get this opportunity in his career at 31 years old to go back to San Jose and not only play for his dad's old team, but wear his dad's old number 27. Like, that's, those are the type of moments you love to see within
Those are cool.
Organizations and players and that kind of stuff. And it means the world to Mason Marchment, especially when he got offered, from what it sounds like, a longer term deal and for more money, and took the shorter term and less money. No, I never heard where. Never heard where, unfortunately. But leaving money on the table and leaving years on the table to go to San Jose, you could tell that was where he wanted to go. Like, that was his number one choice at the end of the day. And again, for all the, off ice reasons, whatnot, and family reasons, but also you look at where the team's going. Like, the Sharks are slowly starting to become a destination that players want to go to. And again, we saw that with Jacob Trouba. He got offered a 6-year deal with the Ducks and turned it down to sign a 4-year deal with San Jose, a rival of the Ducks, a team that he was a rival against last year, and again, are these deals, a little bit longer than I would have liked as a Sharks fan? Yeah, but at the end of the day, the Sharks they're not rebuilders anymore. You're right. They're trying to win now.
They're builders.
They're coming out of this rebuild. They're building the team up, and again, you've already got the top end skill and your young talent. You just need to get good veterans there, big bodies. Again, Mason Marchment has had a fantastic last couple of years. Jacob Trouba just plays a solid, more defensive game, physical game, good veteran leader.
You know what all these acquisitions remind me of, and what team this reminds me of? The Anaheim Ducks a few years ago.
The Anaheim Ducks of last year. Yeah.
Yeah. They got all this great young talent, and that young talent is really starting to put it together. Okay, let's take that next step. And they go out and they get Trouba, and they get Chris Kreider, and they get
Mikael Granlund.
There was another big defenseman they got at some point. I can't remember.
I mean, they traded for John Carlson, but
yeah. This screams a lot of that, and I think they're going to have a similar year next year to what the Ducks just had, in that they're going to make the playoffs, and depending on how they're rolling, maybe they do a little bit of damage. Like,
I genuinely do believe the Sharks will make the playoffs next year,
especially in the Pacific
especially
Division,
in the Pacific. Yeah,
I would expect them to make the playoffs at this point. I don't know. I'll be interested to see if they didn't make the playoffs, would it be seen as a disappointment? Obviously, it's disappointing whenever you miss the playoffs, but like, is this the first year where it's like, are you hoping to make the playoffs, or
I
are
think
they?
so. Yeah,
Is it enough moves that the expectation is to make the playoffs more than just the hope?
I
Like,
think the
is there
expectation
that
is at this
pressure?
point.
Okay,
I don't think there's the pressure of it, but I do think the expectation is like this is a playoff team now.
right.
Um, and I mean, yeah, again, a lot of people shit on the Jacob Trouba deal. 8.250 for 4 years. The last 2 years do have a modified no trade clause, so
Movable.
it is a deal that's kind of built to be traded later on.
Yeah.
And you look at what he did last year in Anaheim. He was, again, in the playoffs. Everyone was glazing Jackson Lacombe for like, oh, he was shutting down McDavid in the playoffs and whatnot. Jacob Trouba was alongside him. And
Yeah.
yes, Connor McDavid was injured, but Connor McDavid on one leg is still better than 85% of players in the NHL, possibly 90%. And again,
Probably
Jackson
90.
Lacombe is a great player in his own right, but I don't think Jackson Lacombe takes that next step and becomes this dominant player we saw last year if he wasn't playing with Jacob Trouba. Because I think
I think
Jacob
that helped him a
Trouba
lot.
is, at this point in his career, is a perfect complementary piece for young defensemen. And Sam Dickinson is desperately in need of that. I think Jacob Trouba is the perfect guy to slot alongside him. And again, if you say you want about Jacob Trouba, but I feel like for a young defenseman, it's probably pretty fun and easy to play hockey when you've got a guy like Jacob Trouba alongside you.
100%.
'Cause
If nothing
he doesn't
else,
really provide the
there's
offense,
0
but
games you have to
he
worry about
does
him running
everything
you.
else.
You don't
Yeah,
have to worry about playing against him either, which is always a plus.
yeah.
And knowing there's a big, beefy, scary motherfucker to watch your back, and he's a vet who's been around, he could tell you how to do things. And you
He's
know
got your
what?
back, absolutely.
Hey,
Yeah.
I just worked with this other great young talent. This is some of the shit he was doing. I'm too old for that crap. Maybe you'd like to. Like, he's probably got some awesome insight. He's been around to a couple different teams. Like, yeah, like we saw how much the Rangers locker room fell apart when he and Kreider got moved. Like,
Yeah.
this is a guy who has big impacts on locker rooms he shows up to. Like,
He's a great leader, and I always respect Jacob Trouba how much he takes into consideration his wife's profession. Obviously, she is a nurse, and one of the things he was asked about, he said like there's great work opportunity for her in San Jose as well. So again, this is a guy that is gets hated on a lot as a player, but like he at the end of the day, he is a good dude, is a good family guy, and I think those are kind of the values that the Sharks also want to bring to their locker room, right? Because again, the vibes there have been magnificent, and you don't want to mess with that too much. You want to keep that intact still. And guys like Marchman and Trouba will slot in no problem.
yeah.
To this team. And Darnell Nurse. The Sharks trade Shakir Mukhamadullin and Zach Sharp for Darnell Nurse at 0% retained. They take on Darnell Nurse and his entire contract to come to the Sharks. I'm going to be honest, I didn't love it at first. I was actually pretty pissed about it at first.
Right.
I like it. I think, at this point now as a Sharks fan, I don't mind it when you really just look at it, as a whole.
Yeah.
Darnell Nurse, is he a bad player? No. Was he overpaid in Edmonton? Yeah. But did he have unrealistic expectations on him in Edmonton because of that contract? Yeah. Is he overpaid in San Jose? Yeah. But does he have those unrealistic expectations in San Jose? No.
No, he does not.
He can just be a player, and he can just play his game. Again, like it's not like he was bad in Edmonton. He just never lived up to the $9.25 million deal. But he doesn't have to in San Jose because they never signed him to that. He was never drafted and developed to be this savior of the franchise that desperately needed a defenseman. He is just a he's just part of the unit back there that's going to be all 6 defensemen chipping in together to help this team. Great
Yeah.
locker room guy. I mean, how many Edmonton players put out a whole thing about him, like how they're going to miss him and they loved him, and like good dude, always has his teammates' backs. And again, it's what the Sharks need on the blue line with some of their young players. Like, again, you'd much rather have Darnell Nurse behind you than in front of you.
Yeah.
You know, instead of hitting you, he's protecting you. And
Well,
we
and
know
how long does
does
he have
that
left on
pretty
his
good.
deal? 5 years?
4 years. 4 years.
4 years. People will act like that's forever. That's forever for a team like Edmonton, where every year is a millennium long and they have to win now. 4 years for the Sharks. That's fine. That's totally fine. This is a guy that I think is going to improve a lot in San Jose. Hell, he might just play the same way he's always played, and people will view it differently because he's not under the lens of he has to be a number 1 or a number 2 guy on the blue line in Edmonton. So
absolutely, yeah.
I was just going through my phone in our group chat and our text. I was trying to find. I don't remember where you sent it, but I want your reaction when you first found out about it. Because I responded like, I don't hate it for San Jose, and you were like, oh yeah, it's not too bad, but like. You said something like he's like a bald fucker and I don't like him, so I don't like the deal or something. Which I wanted to find because that was really funny.
I can find it right away because I'm pretty sure I know exactly what I said. And again,
which is super fair. If you don't, if you get a guy on your team that you just don't like, that's so fair. Like being like, yeah, maybe it's a decent ad. This guy though, like that's so fair. But yeah, honestly, I think people kept saying they're gonna have to pay so much to get rid of him, and they're gonna have to retain so much. No, he was always a good enough player to get out from under it. But
yeah, okay. So I was talking about it. I said he's buns, ugly, and I hate him. And then I said Oilers should open the forbidden door and trade him to SKA Moscow. And that obviously didn't happen. But that was that was only when I found out that
ugly and I hate him.
That's only when I found out that he was expanding his trade list. He wasn't even a Shark at that time. That's just when it's like he was open to being moved to, aside from what was it, Pittsburgh, Boston, and Philly, I think. And then I was like, bro, he's buns, ugly, and I hate him. And
oh man.
Now I'm rooting for him though. Again,
put that on a shirt.
I'll say whatever I want about players and whatnot, but as soon as they go to the Sharks, and I'll say that's my team. I'm a massive supporter of them. So, and again, I'm happy for Nurse. I think he really needed to get out of Edmonton. That was a bad. That was just wasn't a good spot for him anymore, and I think even he realized that. So, getting out of there, getting to San Jose, where the vibes I think are instantly way better, like way better. No pressure. It's just play hockey and have fun with these young guys. Like that's where the Sharks are at right now. So
yeah, I think he's gonna have a very comparable year. And these are guys that because they signed big deals around the same time, they've been compared a lot throughout their careers. I think he's gonna have a very similar kind of bit of a career resurgence like Seth Jones has in Florida.
Yeah,
because
you didn't have to be the guy.
Great player. Probably shouldn't be your number 1 defenseman, and he always had to be that when he was in Chicago. He gets moved out, a little bit more depth, different look on things, like just get a fresh start, and it turned around pretty nicely for him. I think we're going to see something pretty similar.
That's kind of the way I feel. And again, the people saying like, "Oh, this is going to make it impossible to extend Celebrini Smith and shit like that." Just shut up. You really think Mike Greer is going to jeopardize the future to trade for Darnell Nurse? Like, no. And I think the Sharks have a lot of money that opens up. Logan Couture's $8 million comes off the books next year.
Are they even at the cap floor as it stands right now?
They are, yeah. Erik Karlsson's 1.5 comes off the book. Vlasic and Jones is 1.6 come off so like just right there they have like 11 million dead cap, that 12 million dead cap that comes off the books next year. They still have $17 million in cap space, so they're fine.
When are you expecting a Macklin Celebrini extension?
I mean, now looking at what happened with Leo Carlsson, it fucking better be before July 1st of next year. But realistically, it'll be before the start of the season.
It does sound like him, Bedard, and Fantilli, those four were all waiting for each other to sign to set the market for each other. And Carlson just got the first insane offer, so he took it. So I am wondering if we'll see some progress made on any of those three guys. The other two for contracts for Celebrini extension because he has 1 year before RFA. It'll be interesting to see if we show up with them.
Yeah, it sounds like with the Sharks is just getting through the initial craziness of the beginning of free agency, and once things kind of cool down, they'll hammer out an extension. And
they have time with Celebrini. Like, you want to get it done soon, but they have time. You don't have time to wait on Jacob Trouba. He would have got signed by somebody. You don't have time to wait on Mason Marchment. He would have got signed. Like, those are the ones where you had to deal with it. So
yeah, it's cool though seeing now where, last couple of years Sharks have to overpay to get free agents to now where players are taking lesser deals to go to the Sharks. I think that really shows that
destination team.
Players are starting to believe in what the team's building, and they want to be a part of that. They don't want to be looking across the bench and seeing that. They want to be a part of that group and what they're building. So, yeah, I mean, vibes are up in San Jose. Things are looking good, and we'll see what goes. But they definitely do have playoff aspirations going into next year.
Still pretty crazy that Edmonton for Celebrini's contract.
Okay,
and then I want to hear what you. Actually, I already have my number, so I want to ask you, what do you think?
I think he signs for like
anything in the next few months before the season starts. They get it done.
I think he signs like a 7 or 8 year deal. I bet at like 15. I think strictly just this is a guy that since he's come into the league has kind of been taken under the wings of guys like Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon, and whatnot. And these are all guys that have, for the most part, have taken team friendly deals to want to win. And I think he's looking around
named
like,
earlier today, the double IHF player of the year.
Yeah. So I think he's looking around. It's like, I could take the Kaprizov, the 17 mil, the big money, or I could take a little bit less and, again, allow my teammates to get money that they'll want to stay, and we build up a good team and, win. I could win 3 cups like, Crosby. I could win a cup by the time I'm 24 or 25.
There's a world where he has one before McDavid.
Yeah. And beating McDavid en route to winning one. So I think because of that and the veterans he's kind of already established himself with around the league at such a young age, I think he's realizing like you can't just take the big money out of the gate and expect to win. You gotta leave some money on the table to allow a good team around you, because again, nowadays in this league, it's a full team thing. Like it's lines 1 to 4, it's pairings 1 to 3. It's both your goalies at times to win a cup. So I think he takes a bit of a lesser deal that'll surprise a lot of people.
Well, that makes my job a hell of a lot easier. You said everything that I brought this segment up to talk about. I was going to say he signs for max term, 8 years at 15 mil. For all those reasons you just said, he could get 20 mil, and I think the Sharks would be fine paying him. But 15 mil a season, still a lot of money. It's a lot more than basically every NHL player in history makes, and it still leaves the team a lot of money to sign all these other great guys. And not to mention Celebrini, he is one of those rare players like Crosby, like McKinnon, who they can play, and hell, he could play his entire career in San Jose, and he can still get a ton of marketing deals and sponsorships and endorsements, not only there, in Canada. Like, very few Canadian guys go down there and still do endorsements all the way back up here. He's a guy that he can do endorsements here, there. He can have them wherever he wants because he's just that guy. and everyone loves him.
Yeah.
The marketing is insane for him. Like, yeah, he's gonna have no problem making money. I think he's okay taking a bit of a shave compared to what he could make for
And you sign
getting Will Smith paid, getting
yeah.
Stenberg paid, making sure Stenberg stays. Like, by the time Stenberg's up for off of his ELC, Will Smith's gonna have his contract, Misa's gonna have his contract, Dickinson's gonna have his contract. Like,
Mhm.
they're gonna be looking to get a contract done for Keaton Verhoff. Like, you know,
Yeah.
they're good that extra however many million that he's shaving off to go down to. I still can't believe you said the exact number. I was thinking 15 mil. Like, yeah,
And if he signs an 8-year deal, then he can sign another 8-year deal, and he's 29.
yeah.
Like,
And
so
what's he worth
that's
then? Maybe he's the first
yeah,
player to
who
get
knows at
30
that
mil.
point? Yeah, like, at that point, who knows
It could be
what
crazy.
we get to, right? Like, um, but yeah, things
Eh,
are definitely looking up in San Jose. I gotta tip my cap to Stan Bowman in Edmonton. I did not think he could move off Darnell Nurse with 0 retention and get assets back, but that's exactly what he did. So I'm
I
curious to
was
see how it
surprised
works
Mook
out for
Madulin went
Edmonton,
the other
and
way. That was the one thing.
I'm not. To be honest, I'm not. A lot of injuries already in his young career so far, and a guy who is a big build but doesn't play that way, and so obviously the skating isn't quite great. So yeah, like he'll have like one good game, but then like 4 like pretty rough games after that. And again, a guy that you might only get him for 50 games in the season because again, just a
Just
lot of
has so many
injuries early
injuries.
on. So and Sharks got other young defensemen coming up, so you kind of just didn't really have the need for him anymore. So I was high on
Yeah,
him at one point, but he signed a 1-year kind of prove it deal and just really
didn't
did
quite
not
prove
have a
it.
good year. So it's like you can't really tell a guy, hey, this is a prove it deal. Oh, you had an awful year. Well, we're gonna re up you. It's time to move on. And
That's fair.
I hope he does good in Edmonton, though. I think a lot of opportunity for him there. But yeah, in San Jose, just was not gonna work for him. Do
Do
you want
you
to talk about some
think?
trades or?
I just want to bring up one quick player because I haven't heard anyone talk about him for a bit. What do you think goes on with Ryan Reeves? You
Well,
think he's
he's
retired?
done in San Jose. Um, I know he wants to get to that 1,000 game mark. He he mentioned that on the last episode ever of After Hours. But I mean, you don't need him in San Jose anymore. Now you've got Marchman, you've got you've got a lot of guys that can kind of fill that tough guy role that Reeves brought. And Mike Gurr basically said like, yeah, he's we're kind of moving on from him, which does kind of
He
suck
was
because
never
again
a
he
skill
was a good.
guy, and he's 39 now. Like,
Yeah, and
it's
he brought a lot of good vibes to the locker room. Great locker room leader. Yeah, I'm curious to see if he'll sign anywhere and get the chance to get to that 1,000 games. But
like, do you think
yeah, won't be
he
in San
finds a
Jose.
spot in Vancouver, like just
Maybe
anywhere,
Vancouver. Yeah,
Vancouver,
I think
Chicago? Like,
Vancouver would be a great spot for him. Like they need veteran leaders and they need a guy to bring that locker room together.
they need vibes. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. I
the
think
Canucks
Vancouver's
can
a
be
fantastic spot.
generationally bad, and if it's a fun enough team, I don't think people will care. Like,
Exactly. Yep.
if they can have that San Jose style season of good vibes, even without a Celebrini type, just if they win 20 games on the season, but like the players look like they don't all just want to end it, like that's probably just that's the bar. The bar's pretty low in Vancouver right now.
Yeah.
And hopefully they can do that cuz man, that sucks so hard how bad the Canucks have been over the last while. They have such a
Agreed.
great passionate fan base. Like,
It's been pretty rough.
hopefully they can turn around. Let's talk about some
Um,
trades.
yeah, we'll rattle through some trades here. We've been going on pretty long, so we won't 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 hang around these ones too long, but we will talk about and mention them just
Yeah,
so they're
we've
out
already
there.
mentioned quite a few of them.
Yeah,
So we talked about Darnell Nurse. We talked about it earlier a bit. We can go into a bit more, but New York trading Vinny Trocheck to Utah. That's some real good center depth. Like that, they had fine center depth. It was okay. Wasn't cup caliber. It could be. It could be now. Logan Cooley takes that step if he becomes that 90, 95 plus point number one center, and then they got Vinny Trocheck as your second line center. I buy that.
Yeah.
That's contender.
Yeah, and you move out Sean Dursey, Koboden, and a third-round pick in 2027. I mean, yeah, for Utah, you do that all day. You don't need another center prospect. Sean Dursey is a little bit tough, but again, like, how many years in a row now has he started the year and got injured and missed the first half of the year? Like, it's a guy you can't quite rely on at this point, even though the talent is obviously there. And you've got Sergachev still, you got Marino, you brought in Mackenzie Weegar, so you can afford to move on from Dursey, and especially when it gets you that legit second line center you need. Like, this is a pretty even trade, in my opinion. I think it works out for both teams and gets them exactly what they want. So, I mean, obviously, like it more for Utah, but
yeah,
I don't mind it one bit for the Rangers, though. You still get a good defenseman, good young forward prospect, big boy too. Maybe play him alongside Greentree in the future. So, yeah,
could be fun.
good deal.
Very tidy business on the blue end with the Utah Mammoth. They have Sergachev and Weegar both locked up until 2031, and at a combined cap hit of just under 15 mil a season.
Mm-hmm.
Those are two really good defensemen for pretty reasonable cap hits. I like that as a 2-man core for their defense right now. This is man, that's a solid looking team.
Yeah, Utah's doing good, and they got Sebastian Cossa in there, so
Minnesota
you've now got him in Vejmelka.
The three-headed monster everyone talks about in the Central. Minnesota, Colorado, Dallas. Is it safe to say all three teams got worse this offseason so far? Colorado, all they've done is moved guys out because they don't have a ton of cap space. Dallas doesn't know what they're doing with Jason Robertson.
I don't think Minnesota's really got worse.
They traded, who is it? Lyubushkin
and Maverick Bourque.
Maverick Bourque, he was great for them. Like, they're definitely not looking better.
I don't think Minnesota's gotten worse, though.
Minnesota hasn't really gotten worse. I don't know if they've gotten better. Well, they lost Tarasenko. They lost Zuccarello.
That's
like,
fine.
Did they really replace those guys?
Zuccarello's like Tarasenko. That's fine. Who gives a shit?
That's a whatever depth piece.
Zuccarello's a little bit of a tough one. But again, it opens up room for your young guys, and they've still got a couple young prospects. Like, again, Minnesota's one of those teams that is a contending team, but it's also like they do have some talented young players coming up. So
yeah,
just opening up room for them. And yeah, I mean, Utah's starting to creep in there. Utah's only knock is they don't have that top end talent yet, but it's coming.
I think they do, and I think it's here next year. I think it basically arrived last year. I think they just didn't quite get the attention. Dylan Guenther's a 40-goal guy. I think he could hit 50
but again,
next year.
Is Dylan Guenther on the level of points. Are they on the level of Nathan McKinnon, Kaprizov, Robertson, Rantanen? No.
Okay.
But that's what I'm saying.
All those names together is crazy.
Talent.
Nathan McKinnon's at a different level than those guys.
Talent in that.
He's not a
division,
Nathan McKinnon.
Though.
I think so. Like, that might be crazy. I think Dylan Guenther could be better than Mikko Rantanen and Kirill Kaprizov.
Oh, I thought you were saying Nathan
in 1 or 2
McKinnon.
years.
I was like,
no.
Like,
he's the one. He's the one exclusion.
I was gonna
McKinnon's a tier better than all those guys. Yeah, he's better than all those guys. Guenther's not that guy. But
the potential is there. But I'm saying as of right now, no.
No, but I'm saying now he's 85% of those players.
Yeah,
and getting better.
Not 100% yet. We got to see it.
I'm saying this season, I wouldn't be entirely shocked. Which sounds crazy. Mikko Rantanen, Kaprizov, those are great guys. Those are. I don't know exactly where in the conversation. I'm confident in saying they're both top 20 players in the league right now. Dylan Guenther is he's encroaching. Mm-hmm. I'm really high on him. He's one of those players I really like.
No, they absolutely do have some great talent.
Ridiculous contract as well. Insane contract. It goes off the screen past 2032 at 7.1 mil. Holy shit. Yeah. What a deal.
Yeah, it's a good deal for Utah, and again, I do like it for the Rangers. New Jersey, moving on from Jacob Markstrom, send him to Florida. Jacob Markstrom will be the newest newest goalie of the Florida Panthers. The deal itself in its entirety, Markstrom with Angus Crookshank, forward prospect for Evan Rodriguez, Jesper Boquist, and Ben Steeves. Evan Rodriguez was a nice little ad for New Jersey.
Don't mind that.
Considering moving out Jacob
Florida
Markstrom,
would
looked
see
on
a guy.
deal.
Florida would see a guy who has the word shank in his name and just be like, done. Give him a contract. This is going to be interesting. We've seen a lot of versions of Jacob Markstrom over the years. It's kind of a crapshoot which one seems to show up. All I know is I don't mind it as a Tampa fan because over the past few years, Jacob Markstrom in particular, we have just owned his ass so hard. Jake Allen, great for the Devils. He plays like a starter. Just every time Markstrom seems to start against us, we just like throw in 7, 6, 8 goals. Like it's just crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
yeah, it'd be interesting to see how
he's one of those goalies that he lets
Florida
in 5 goals or he stands on his head and gets you a dub.
Yeah, shuts the door. Yeah,
and Florida gets the best out of guys like that. Like, would anyone be surprised if he went there and put up a 9-10 save percentage, which in this day and age is bordering on Vezina contention?
Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how that works out for him in Florida, and what some of these guys do in mainly Evan Rodriguez in New Jersey, because
it could be a good player for him. You know, a guy that's always kind of been good wherever he's gone, but hasn't really been able to stick around even in Florida. So again, a guy that's probably going to do great things in New Jersey, I bet.
A guy from Florida in Sunny Meta bringing him over with him. Like, he's watched this guy play for his team for a while, and you know, similar to McFarland in Nashville, bringing a bunch of the Avalanche guys with him. You know, he's like, you know what, I really did not mind this player. I think he brings something we're missing on this team I'm with now. Let's bring him into the fold. Whenever it's a guy bringing back an older guy from a team he was just on, like when they just moved on to a new team and bring him over, I'm always like, this guy has to know something that we're all missing. And I struggle to ever think, unless I think very lowly of the GM, that this won't work out. Like, for a reason.
Absolutely. We did kind of mention before, but Devin Levi going to Buffalo, or going from Buffalo to Edmonton for a 3rd round pick. You were pretty high on this for Edmonton.
I mean, it's hard not to be, just because they gotta solve the goalie issues, and you're hoping that that Freddie Anderson does it, but Freddie Anderson's never healthy for a full season. Somebody's got to play these games, and this is a guy that we really thought was going to be something special. I know you weren't quite as high on him as most people were coming out of his juniors, and you know, when he got his ELC signed, like, people thought he was going to be the next big thing. You know, it was him and Spencer Knight. Those guys are going to be like big, and he hasn't been able to crack it in the NHL. Every time he gets up, he just gets knocked back down. Maybe he makes something happen in Edmonton. Maybe he becomes that guy, and if nothing else, it'll be a chance for him to get into some games and hopefully grab that brass ring. But Edmonton's got to try something, and for net, they gave up very little to get him, and he costs them almost no money. So it's very, very low risk, very high potential reward. So for those reasons, I do really like it for the Edmonton Oilers. I'm surprised Buffalo couldn't get more for him, but is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said. Yeah, I was never the highest on him, but it is low risk.
Looks like you're right so far.
It's low risk, high reward though. So Edmonton, again, you got to take those swings at this point now, I think, especially when it comes to goalies. So again, I'm not the highest on Devin Levi, but I do still like it for Edmonton because
Yeah. I'm so glad he went to Edmonton because, man, I could have seen, like, we're all wondering, is he going to be that guy in Edmonton?
Mhm,
If this exact trade happens before the Markstrom trade to Florida, I'm just assuming he's a Vezina finalist in 2 years.
mhm.
If he goes to
Yeah,
Florida, I'm just like, oh, okay, he's just going to, like, go there and be a fucking beast, isn't he? So, like,
yeah.
at least he went to
No, yeah.
Edmonton.
Um, Vancouver trades Marcus Pettersson to the New York Rangers for a 2020-30 first round pick. Um, quite a ways in the future,
Man,
and
they're
it is
mortgaging the future.
top 10 protected too. So again, this is
I
so
don't
typical of the
think
Rangers.
I don't think the Vancouver Canucks care at all that it's top 10 protected. I think they're hoping that it gets protected because that's around the time where the wheels are going to fall the hell off of the Rangers, and you might end up with a Tim Stützle situation where all of a sudden there
Yeah,
is a unprotected pick, and
could be very high.
Rangers just got to deal with that. Like, who knows what if Shesterkin's happy at that point? That's several years in. They got a lot of older guys on that roster, that are
Yeah,
not getting any younger, and they don't seem to be intent on moving. I
yeah. I
just I
mean, they
struggle to see this
committed
Rangers team
to
as one that's going to take a huge step
yeah.
long term. Maybe they get better this season from last year. I don't think they build on it for many seasons in a row.
No, I'm with you. I
Like,
mean, again, it's they said they're kind of going into a rebuild, retool thing here, and that completely went out the window once the offseason hit. You're trading futures for Dorofeyev. You're giving up a future first rounder for Marcus Pettersson, a year where the team's probably going to be on the decline. They never learn, and eventually it's going to come back to bite them in the future. But their goal right now is to win a cup right now, and again, I don't think they got the forward talent up front to do it. We'll see if they prove me wrong, which I highly doubt. I mean, I guess right now, good deal for both teams. I guess it helps the Rangers get better right now
they do
on the
get
blue
better
line,
now.
which they do need. And Mike Sullivan obviously spent lots of time with Marcus Pettersson in Pittsburgh, so gets reunited with him on the Rangers, so he knows how to get the most out of him, obviously. But for the Canucks, again, it is a
Reunited
2030
with
first,
JT
but
Miller. Never played with JT Miller, but I mean they were involved in the same big
they're
old
they're
trade
involved
tree
in
last
part of
year.
that. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's going to make that a lot more complicated when we're looking back on it in 10 years.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it all works out for the Rangers, and then we'll see how it works out for the Canucks in five or so years potentially.
Uh,
Last deal we've got here before we start to wrap things up, I think. Hey,
yeah,
this last one.
yeah, we got
Uh,
Blake Coleman going to
yeah.
the Minnesota Wild. Do you have the
What?
details on this?
Yeah, so Blake Coleman and
Okay.
Oli Mata going to the Minnesota Wild. Blake Coleman at 50% retained also for defenseman Jake Middleton, a 2029 second round pick, a 2027 third round pick, and a 2028 fourth round pick. I mean, Calgary should have
It
just
would
moved Coleman at the deadline, like we said. Would have got
It's
way
crazy that
more
they ended
value
up
out of him.
never getting a first for him. That's
Yeah,
a player that you should have at least got a first for. Whether you trade him at the deadline this year, the deadline last year, the offseason last year, any of those times you would have got a first.
they
But
waited
he
too
got
long.
just old enough. He has not as much time on his contract. He
Only
had a
got 1 year left.
bit of a down year. Like, yeah, like they could have got more for him, and I don't think they got more value from having him during that time
Hmm.
that it was worth it, but it's a fine return. Could have been better. It's a little disappointing, but it's not bad. And
It's not
if
bad by any means.
it also opens up room for guys. A big part
Yeah,
of it is they need room to get a bunch of their young guys into the lineup, and they have that now. And they've
yeah.
got a great veteran defenseman in Middleton that can help, develop some of these younger guys. Like,
Bring some physicality, some nastiness, some good defensive game. You fill your cupboards up more with draft picks. again, is it like the proper return we were kind of expecting for Blake Coleman? No. Is it a bad return? No. Like it still is a good return. And again, Jacob Middleton is already, put out that he's excited to come to Calgary. He wants to be a part of the Flames and will bring good value to the team. And
more passionate
he
than
will
a
get
normal
moved.
signing.
Mm-hmm. And he will get moved.
Like a lot
by
of them
the
are
end
like,
of his
I'm
contract,
excited,
though.
but yeah.
And it will bring more value back. So this trade tree will kind of continue to grow for the Flames. And for Minnesota, again, that's your Tarasenko replacement. That's improving your middle six right there, and your penalty kill. And Oli Mata even is gets overlooked a lot. Utah didn't value him, but Calgary saw the value in him and showed Minnesota, yeah, this is a good NHL defenseman. And so this absolutely helps improve the Minnesota Wild. And for Calgary, again, it makes them a little bit worse, which is exactly what you want when you're, trying to tank for those top draft picks, at least for next year. But good leadership, and you fill the cupboards up. So I don't hate it for them one bit.
Where do you think he plays in their lineup next year?
Well, I mean, you probably put him or Ball with Parekh, and you put the other one with Simon Nemec, I think. And then White Cloud with
probably Ball and
whoever.
Parekh, right? They've both been there. They know each other. Nemec and Middleton are both new.
Middleton.
So, kind of put the new guys together so you're not messing with the chemistry of the others too much. And then, you still got Pahal, Kuznetsov, Hanley, White Cloud. I know they just got White Cloud. I feel like if they don't move him relatively soon, they're going to... The same thing that happened with Coleman's going to happen with him. I think he's got tremendous value right now at his deal. If they retain on him too, they'll get him like below $1.5 million for 2 years. He's right-handed. Like, Matt, I tell you what, as a fan of a team who is trying to contend right now, I'd fucking love to trade for Zach Whitecloud.
Yeah,
I think they could get a nice little haul for him.
Could get
they have enough
pretty decent return
for a rebuilding team. They've got a really good blue line that could stand to lose Whitecloud and would still be serviceable.
Yeah, so. Absolutely.
What are you thinking? Do we want to do the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we're at the 2-hour mark, but that's fine. A lot of people look forward to the game, and I did make a promise at the end of last episode, because this is the start of season 4 now officially of the Stick 'em Up podcast, and I did say that we would have a game because it is too real, too fake. We are bringing it back for the first time this season here. If you're unfamiliar with the game, pretty simple. I have 4 players here, and I have a little bio blurb for each of them. And it is up to Braden and you at home to determine who is real and who is fake. 2 of them are real, 2 of them are fake. Best of luck, everyone at home. Braden, are you ready?
I am ready.
Alrighty. Let me just throw this in for my
4 players.
The first player I have for you today. Are you ready? You look ready.
Yes.
We have Tyler Teddy, a Canadian center drafted 98th overall in the 2000 NHL draft by the New York Rangers. Teddy went on to play a total of 319 career games with the Rangers before being traded to the Edmonton Oilers for the final 198 games of his career. Teddy never recorded more than 15 points in a season, aside from his first season with the Oilers, where he put up 39. Teddy now serves as an amateur scout for the Edmonton Oilers.
Okay.
And that is Tyler Teddy.
Tyler Teddy. What a name. That's good.
You ready
I'd
for
love
your
to
next
get a
player?
hockey card of that. Yeah.
Next up, we have Blake Bull, an American winger drafted 119th overall by the LA Kings in the 1997 NHL draft. Bull played a total of 698 career games split between the LA Kings and the Boston Bruins, where he racked up 304 points. Post-retirement, Bull started up a junior hockey camp called Bull Hockey Academy that a few future NHL players attended when they were younger, such as Cole Caulfield, Michael Kesselring, and Sammy Blais. And that is
I thought you said
Blake
superstars.
Bull. I just said future NHLers.
Well, even that might be stretching it for Sammy Blais. He's literally an NHLer. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, he's traded for Buchnevich at one point. So the Rangers were pretty high on him at one point. Only to what? They let him walk the following year?
I think so.
Something like that.
He keeps like getting picked up for like assets and then walking for nothing because teams can't use them.
Yeah. Next up, we have Jim Campbell, an American winger drafted 28th overall by the Canadiens in the 1991 NHL draft. Campbell made his debut in 1996 with the Ducks, where he would go on to play a total of 285 career games, with time spent across multiple teams, racking up 136 points. Campbell, now residing back in St. Louis, where he operates multiple pubs. And he did obviously spend time in his career with the Blues, which is why he is back in St. Louis.
Classic.
Multiple pubs.
All right. Multiple pubs.
And the last player we have here, we have Tommy. I always struggle with this one. Tommy Abelin. Abelin. So I'm going to go with Abelin. A Swedish defenseman drafted 152nd overall by the Nordiques in the 1983 NHL draft. Tommy played a total of 952 career games in the NHL, including 2 Stanley Cups with the New Jersey Devils. Worth noting, those 2 Stanley Cups were in 2 different stints with the New Jersey Devils. Tommy spent multiple seasons after retirement as a coach with the Devils organization before departing in 2014. He most recently was an assistant coach with the Islanders in the 24-25 season, where he lasted just 1 season. That is Tommy Abelin.
Imagine being such a bad assistant coach. You get canned after 1 year.
Oh, yeah. It's tough. Tough times. Well, so what, during that season, they would have had...
I got 2
Lane Lambert, Candom, brought in Patty Waugh, and then the end of the season, Patty Waugh's like, I want my guys. And then Patty Waugh gets the boot next season.
That's true. That's true.
Not a good time to be head coach on the island.
I think I'm falling for it, but...
What are your thoughts here? What are you feeling?
I'm going to go that way.
And everyone at home, make sure to lock in your answers on who are the 2 real players and who are the 2 fake.
I already had the first 2 locked in after you said them. Wasn't sure on Jim Campbell. And I wasn't sure on Albin. I don't have the spelling in front of me. Tommy A.
The Swedish defenseman.
Yeah. So I wasn't sure, and I was leaning towards Jim being the real one, but I've swapped it at the end. Yeah, there might have been a little wordsmithing. I can't tell. You might have just really dug a great little storyline there with, he was there. Well, but he lost it because he was there when the new coach came in, and Patty Waugh wants his guys and stuff. And there was just enough stuff there with him and the Devils and the 2 separate stints that if you were just pulling that out of your ass, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. So I'm going Tommy Abelin as real, Jim Campbell fake, Tyler Teddy I have as real, and Blake Bull I have as fake.
All right. Final answer, locking it in?
I'm going to lock all that in.
Evan at home, lock in your final answers. Answers are locked. Pencils
lock them
down.
In.
Tommy, I'm not going to say the last name, the Swedish defenseman. You believed he was real in the end. You thought I was making shit up, potentially. But everything I was saying was absolutely the truth.
I think it was a very good job.
He's absolutely real. He is absolutely real.
Huge.
You are one for one there. I again, the last name is actually tough to pronounce, but I was like, you know what? I'm gonna lean into it because maybe it'll maybe that would throw you off the scent a bit, but that didn't work.
Yeah.
You are one for one so far.
Honestly,
Blake,
that also made him feel real. The way you were like, you struggled for a second, and then you were like, "Ugh, I always struggle with this." It was like, okay, so like, does he actually struggle with it, or like, is that some gamesmanship?
it
So that
is
was
actually it is genuinely just a tough to pronounce last name.
you're really good at this when you present the information. You're maybe it's just because it's video call, or maybe you're just real good at it. But
No,
you're hard to read.
I'm just a slimy fuck. Blake Bull, the American winger, LA King, Boston Bruin, hockey camp guru, you thought was fake. He is in fact fake. Blake Bull is not real.
After you
Jim
said his
Campbell.
name, I thought all the names were gonna be. I thought all the names were gonna be animal themed, like Tyler Teddy, like teddy bear, and then Blake Bull.
You
I was
are 2 for
expecting
2 right now.
like I was expecting like Richie Salmon or something to show up.
Maybe Richie Sam will be in the next one. You never know. Maybe it's a real player. Who knows? Jim Campbell, the
I hope
American
so.
winger, drafted by the Canadians, played with the Ducks, now residing in St. Louis, where operates multiple pubs. You thought he was fake.
There's
He
no
is
pubs.
real. Jim
Son of a
Campbell
bitch,
is
there's
real,
pubs.
which means that Tyler Teddy is fake.
Honestly, the instant you said Tyler Teddy, he played for the Edmonton Oilers, I wrote all caps real. I was like,
It
"Oh,
just felt real,
Tyler
right? It just
Teddy?
felt
That
right.
guy maybe I was thinking of, I think I was thinking of Teddy Purcell. I think he played for the Oilers for a bit.
He did.
Um,
Yeah.
just a motherfucker with Teddy on his jersey in oil
Just felt
country. That
right,
just
hey?
felt right. It just
Just
felt
felt right.
right.
Yeah. When it feels good, it
Sometimes
feels
you gotta
good,
just go with
and
your gut.
for Tyler Teddy, it feels good. But that
Not as
was
good as
too
Jim
real, too
Campbell's
fake.
feeling about all his bars.
Absolutely, multiple bars. But that is too real, too fake. Let us know any of our socials or on Instagram, not Instagram, YouTube. How you did? It's been a while. Taking a week off, but we
You
are
can tell us
back.
on Instagram.
Every
2 for 2.
Friday.
2 for 4, rather.
Regular episodes will resume, and a few special episodes sprinkled throughout the weeks, and some YouTube exclusive stuff throughout the off season. But we are back on our official schedule now. We are rolling, all that good stuff. But it's been a bit of a crazy off season. A lot of stuff has gone on. A lot of stuff still potentially to go on. A lot of players still out there unsigned. A lot of players eligible for offer sheets. A lot of rumors of trades out there for players. So the offseason is far from over. We'll have lots to talk about. But to wrap this episode up, Braden, as always, to kick off this offseason, final thoughts.
Final thoughts. Another guy that we didn't mention, Claude Giroux, re-signing in Ottawa. He was going to re-sign either in Ottawa or Philly, it sounded like, the two places that he had been the longest in his career, I believe. And the Flyers couldn't get it done because they were so busy tying up all their money in a potential offer sheet for Leo Carlsson. And I think they still want that. I think they are going to do another massive offer sheet. And I think this time it's going to be Adam Fantilli. And
Divisional rival.
if they're okay screwing over the other teams, and also if they're okay throwing fat money at a promising young player, either you get a real good player or you screw over an in-division rival.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I would not be shocked to see them go after Fantilli next. I don't think they're going to go after Bedard because, sure, you could screw the Blackhawks out of some money. Who cares? They are cheeks anyway. So that they're going to match it. You're not getting Bedard from them. That's like everything. If they sign literally max contract, they'll just match it. I guess they could do the same thing as with Carlson and walk him to UFA, but that's about all the screwing they could do. Fantilli though, with the Flyers, that feels doable. I wouldn't be totally shocked. Keep an eye on that
one. Absolutely. But that wraps up this episode, the first of the offseason, the first of season 4 of the Stick 'em Up podcast. As always, we hope you all enjoyed, and we hope you're enjoying the offseason as much as we are. And as always, we will see all of you lovely people out on the ice next week.